So I know this is a call forward, but we were talking about copyright on YouTube, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think the bots are gonna catch that one.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 53 of This Isn't Funny More podcast.
Today we had a couple of guests. We had
Craig,
Jake,
Caitlin.
Phil!
You're not a guest!
And so we talked about a couple different things. We talked about the importance of frame rate. We talked about that for a while. We talked about
Color
correction.
Yep.
Yeah, tips and tricks.
I believe there was some Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Yeah,
sure.
Steve Buscemi talk. And if you make it all the way to that part, we talk about Joe Pesci for a while.
Yep.
We play a couple of podcast games. We just talk about what we're playing and
and we say goodbye to Phil.
the future of TFAP.
I don't know how you remember all those things we talked about. I had so much beer, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So enjoy 53, guys, because we don't know when 54 is going to show up.
Nope.
But do listen to this podcast because it's really a lot of fun.
All right, guys.
Enjoy the show.
Woo!
World calls him Batman, but in the movies they're always talking about the Batman. Like, let's all just agree on one.
It's mainly the
Christopher Nolan
Yeah,
ones.
the Christopher Nolan
Yeah.
ones.
No, I mean
Because
also in the other ones as well.
they call him the Batman.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah, in the Burton ones,
The
like they kept talking about the
Batman.
Batman.
I think it was because it wasn't an official name yet. He wasn't like I'm Batman.
right.
So they were just calling him the
The
Batman.
Batman, the
Yeah,
man
it was
who is the bat.
descriptive.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I like the way the enunciation was, the Batman.
Yeah. Well,
It
the
would be
60s
weird.
one, I think that's kind of how they talked.
It would be weird if they just heard about someone
Well-
and then they're like, oh, Batman. And
Yeah.
they start calling him Batman.
That's true. Although Michael Keaton
Yeah.
did introduce himself as Batman in
Yeah.
the beginning of
I'm
89.
Batman.
Yeah. Should we just
think I've
dive
seen
in?
it.
Should we dive right in, do the recording so we can play some video games?
Oh, we've been recording.
But
I'm
for
Chris.
for Arkham Knight, they released a 1989 Batman pack, so you got the original suit and the Batmobile, and it's cool because you have like racing tracks, and it's all based on the first two Burton films.
That's
So
really cool.
It's pretty cool.
I am very much into that idea. I would love to play in the old Batsuit, the 89 Batsuit, with the bright yellow target on his chest.
Yeah.
Was it the Batmobile? Does it come with the scissors for snipping the balloons in the first one? What do you have to do?
He took my balloons!
Yeah. No, it's just that weird shape with the little sort of knob on the end of
Yeah.
it.
But I wish it came
That was
with
the bat. That was the bat plane that had the
Oh,
snipper.
it was the bat
yeah.
after. Okay.
Not copter, plane.
Batplane.
I'm on the wrong podcast.
Are you kidding me
Yeah.
right now with the plane and the chopper?
Sorry, we've just been deep into the Lord of the Rings movies.
Well, everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Phil.
I'm Jake.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Craig.
We did that in counterclockwise order, in case you guys are trying to picture in your head how we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you're scoring at home.
Yeah.
If you had 5.1 and we had 2 more microphones, we could have
Yeah.
made it a really awesome experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I can just add in the intern. He can be one of them.
Nice!
Yeah.
You could do bullet
Does he
time
have a name?
audio.
Yeah.
You could just have several microphones and then just like run
Yeah.
down the line.
Well, did you
Just
ever
a
do that?
Doppler effect for
Did
everything.
you ever do that at the old MGM studios? They had
Yeah.
like you just go in the booth and listen, and
Yeah.
it felt like someone was cutting your hair because the sound effects.
Right. That's the thing that David was talking about on your podcast.
You have a
What?
podcast?
People like that because of
Oh,
the sensation
yeah.
it gives you.
ASMR, I
Yeah.
believe it's what it's called.
ASRM.
No, yeah, it's
Arms. I think you guys are just spelling arms wrong.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a weird thing. If you some people out there are sensitive to this kind of slow, mundane talking that makes you feel.
You gotta get right up on the mic, though, like you're right there.
Well, I don't know if I have to, but I will if you want me to.
Yeah, I'll be on their left.
And
You
then,
be on their right.
and then the
I'll be
hairs
on
on
the
their
left.
skin just raise up.
Yeah,
and then,
right on the back of their neck. You can feel me breathing on
Alright.
you.
You're welcome.
Save it for the intro, guys. But yeah, I mean, I was going to plan a bunch of things to do today, and I planned a couple of things, but I figured we could just talk. There's enough of us here. We can just sort of have casual conversation, just like everything else. But Phil's retiring after this episode.
What?
Yeah.
I'm still being part of the This Isn't Fun Anymore family.
Part of the brand.
He's
just
he's
switching
still
to
under
YouTube.
contract.
The next
Okay.
podcast is going to be Chris just talking to himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, it works sometimes. I mean, unless there's an opening, how much does he get paid? Because I'll fill in.
I don't think I can afford you.
Fill in?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
even take my name.
Yeah. The part of Phil will be played by Craig Benzine.
You should have rotating fills.
Yeah.
Very good.
Hi, I'm Phil.
But yeah, Phil wants to move over to YouTube exclusively.
Never heard of it.
Well,
And-
there's never been a better time.
I know, because yesterday.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. News.
Nice.
Go ahead.
You're trying to usurp.
No,
Eliza?
I love when you play the Eliza clip.
Okay.
But do it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. News.
But yeah, because so YouTube launched their gaming only sort of, I guess, website channel. I don't know exactly how to call it. But you know,
It's its own channel.
it's its own channel, right? It's I think it's gaming.youtube.com,
Yeah.
and it's just completely
Confusing as hell.
right. It's completely focused on gaming and now live streaming also. The problem with YouTube before was you always had to schedule your live streams, but I guess now you can just spur of the moment start a live stream. And a couple of months ago, I don't remember how long ago it was now, but they tried to buy Twitch. Google did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were, I guess, for $1 billion or something. But then Amazon ended up outbidding them. So
Amazon got Twitch.
So
Yeah.
Amazon got Twitch,
And
and,
then Google was
Google's like, well, why don't we just make our
Yeah,
own?
check out these nuts.
Yeah.
It's pronounced D's.
D's.
Ah,
She's
sure.
correct.
Sure.
Let's go to the tape.
Thank you, Internet.
Caitlin will be playing.
She's the robot.
Playing the Internet. The robot
The
Internet.
living embodiment of the internet, which Phil can tell you is definitely what I do in my downtime.
If anyone has a lot of experience with the internet,
Yeah.
it would be you.
But Craig, are you? I've heard some rumors semi-recently that you were thinking about bringing back Wheezy Gamer.
Oh.
Does this inspire you to jump back into it more? Or?
Honestly, what we've just talked about right now is the most I know
Okay.
because of us talking about it. I was aware that YouTube was launching some sort of gaming thing, but I don't know.
Well, here's the deal, too.
Go ahead.
No,
Feel free
I'm
to
sorry.
cut him off.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
I
that's
am
cool.
gonna bring back Wheezy Gamer at some point.
Okay.
Not 100% sure when,
Not to put you on the spot.
but I'll talk about it more. But Jake wants something to say.
Well, no. Did you even?
Well, I have something to say.
Did you even go check out? I do want something. I just started talking. I'm hoping it comes. Did you go check it out? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, it's very much like all of the gaming centric stuff of YouTube there, plus Twitch live streams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like, well, Twitch-ish live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was there yesterday on the live streams.
No, yeah.
But like all the react to games videos were there. All of the playthroughs were there.
It was basically just an archive of everything else that already existed.
And you could click on like a game. They have like a list of games. You could
Yeah.
click on a game and see everything that's been done on that game. And just like, do I want to see this guy talk about this game or this guy
Which
talk
is
about
how
this game?
So
Twitch
I
is
gotta
organized.
find games that no one has videos on.
I think Kickle Cubicle
Yeah, I was
is
gonna
going
say
to be
Kickle
a good,
Cubicle wins.
Yeah.
gonna be a good inroad for you.
And Turok also.
But I was gonna say I would love to see. I check out your Let's Plays that you've been doing.
Sure.
I want to see some really good games.
Space Channel 5.
No.
I mean, besides Turok.
Yeah, what is there? What's the pinnacle
What other
of
games
gaming?
are there?
No, I was gonna say besides. I think Turok's the only game that I would
Consider
that
bad.
that I played that I would consider bad.
Right. But I want to see you play new games.
Massive Chalice is new.
Okay, I
Okay,
did enjoy
yeah.
that. I did
Okay.
enjoy that a lot because it was new and I had no experience with it. So I wanted
Sure.
to see. I wanted to see it. 'Cause
You
I'm not
just-
going to take the time to play
This
it.
is all a big intervention to get me to play Bioshock.
Yeah.
I would love to see you play Bioshock.
You just want
Yeah.
me to record and play Bioshock.
That would be great. I would watch that.
I mean, I'll put it up there when I start it
yeah.
in 10 years.
Well, what's the holdup?
I got a lot of Turok.
Yeah,
This is just stop.
Well, if
It's
you
just-
hate
just
if you
stop.
hate Turok, yeah, you don't have to finish it.
We've had this
Yeah, this is his
discussion.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. I will fully admit that I have some sort of disease that has yet to be discovered that prevents me from enjoying my life.
There's not a lot of funding in the
You're
research
allergic
department.
to fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Wheezy Gamer is gonna happen. I just need to find the time. David, my colleague David, says
Right.
he wants to edit them and stuff. So.
Oh, that makes it so much easier for you.
Yeah, it does.
Did you do much editing on them before?
This is how you know it's a question?
Well, yeah, and not just the editing, but yeah, I would, especially for the Dark Souls games, I would do editing. Other game like Zelda, I tried not to edit. I try not to edit any of them, but with Dark Souls, you have to because
you die 1,000 times.
Repeating the same thing
Right.
over and over and over, and a lot of also me not talking, just being confused and angry. Just like, what am I doing? God damn it. Well, that's interesting, but I'm not doing that the whole time either.
Right.
If you were just making sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but
Isn't
then
how
it's also
PewDiePie made like $17 billion.
That's true.
Screaming at a game.
Yeah, that's true. But then you got to slap on the intro and the outro, and then you got to upload it and make a thumbnail and annotate, and that stuff takes time.
And David's gonna take that burden.
Well, he
Some
said
of
so,
it.
but the good stuff might be getting more busy, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Stop being successful and play more games.
Right? But I twitched and then tried to upload I played the Gears of War Ultimate Edition
Okay.
on Tuesday. But when I tried to upload it, it was like, you have 3 copyright claims now to this video. Because the background music that was made just for the game is now got caught by the bots, and it won't let me put it on YouTube. Now that the gaming thing is there, it's like they're going hardcore on gaming music also. Because before it was licensed stuff.
Wow.
And it was like, the normal thing, hey, you can delete these songs, which just means mute the time that it's on. But I was doing commentary that whole time.
Yeah.
So it was like, not only do you not hear game audio, but you don't hear the great things that I was saying the whole time. So what's the point?
Which is the charm of
Can
watching
you-
somebody play a video game.
Yeah.
Is it just on their gaming channel? Could you
No,
upload
I
it
put
to
it on.
regular YouTube?
That's what I
and
did.
it's-
I didn't do it on the gaming channel. I just put it on YouTube.
It's weird.
So you
But
should.
Could you get it on the gaming channel?
I think the rules are probably going to be the same, the licensing agreements and all that stuff.
That doesn't make sense. Though.
Yeah, if it's
because
a whole-
if it's all Let's Plays, like that's all anyone's ever going to post is Let's Plays. That,
I know. I feel like if I would have done it through them and not through Twitch, they would be less uncool about it.
Possibly.
If they're like, hey, if you just did a live stream, we'll just archive your live stream you did for YouTube. But I've never encountered that with a game.
I back when they were going hard, a bunch of my old videos would get flagged, 40 quarters stuff.
Was it for the music though, or just for the content?
No, well, I think it was just for the content.
Yeah.
But then again, I didn't dive too deep into it. It'd just be like, Capcom has a copyright claim on this cutscene. It'd be like, cool, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I remember that's when they
I
first
have
started
2
the.
viewers. I guess if you really want to go after me, knock yourself
Yeah.
out. Capcom can make a whole $10 off of me.
What you should do is take the music, hum the music with your own voice,
And dub over it.
and then
Yeah.
just dub over it. And that way you have your voice in there as well as the music at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would only take a gajillion times longer.
Right? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have any copyright claims on any. I've uploaded all the episodes we've done, the audio podcast, and there's been plenty of licensed music I've put in those.
Yeah.
They don't listen to those.
Yeah, I know.
That is recorded admission of guilt, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, you can edit that out.
Yeah.
It's a not-for-profit show. We're allowed to use it. It's a parody. It's a
It's
parody.
Right.
This is for review.
Yeah.
For review purposes.
Yeah, this is all satire, guys.
Yeah. So what games have you played on your channel so far?
How
How long have you been doing this?
Like 4
Couple
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 weeks, and I haven't done anything in a week. So 3 weeks of actually uploading stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No. You did 2 Mega Mans. You did.
I was gonna do Mega Man on Wheezy Gamer.
Really?
Mega Man 2.
You
There's
still
only
can.
enough room for
Yeah.
one Mega Man
I think
video
you
on
got
the
all the
internet.
audience that's out there for Mega Man.
Yeah, I got all 11 viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my buddy are gonna try and play through all the Mega Mans in
Whoa.
order.
I might just do Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
We
And
just
that's
finished
just
Mega
started
Man
it.
1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get with him probably sometime this week to start Mega Man 2.
It was David's idea, actually, so I'm not stealing your idea.
No,
David-
it's fine.
David is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be funny to see the comparison of how many views we each get. I'll get about 8, and he'll get about
No,
50,000.
dude, we should work together. Collaboration.
Collaboration on Mega Man 2.
Collaborate
Rising
everything.
tides raise all ships.
That's very true.
I don't-
Plus,
yeah.
you have all the skills because you've been playing Mega Man, so you can just
True.
jump right into that.
Yeah. Or you can show up and tell me and yell at me and ridicule me
The whole
for
time.
everything
That
I'm
sounds
doing
good.
wrong.
Just-
Yeah.
That
So
sounds like a
good
good
at
show.
yelling.
Yeah.
I am really good at yelling.
Tell him when to
And
jump,
hitting
tell him when to
people with
shoot.
beer bottles
Yeah.
from a distance.
Yeah,
This is good. This is good.
Yeah, backseat gaming doesn't have enough press, I feel
Let
like.
me just tell you now, Airman is the first one you start with.
Airman?
Yeah. It's the one,
Yeah, he's the
he's the
easiest. or-
weakest to the M-Buster.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
to get
Okay.
give away the strategies, but that's
Yeah.
the first one you start with.
I have beaten the game, but it was like 15 years ago.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I mean, I
remember.
play it every week, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's an interesting question I have too. Is there any game that you guys feel like you're like the best at? Not just like, I know Craig, you're great at a lot of different games.
A lot of old games.
Right.
Yeah.
But is there one game that you feel like I'm the best at this game and that I could like challenge almost anybody to that? Like I could challenge a random person off the street and guarantee that I can beat them. Jake's shaking his head no.
No, not for me.
What game do you think you're the best at then, even if you're not better than everybody else? Like,
What's the game that I am the best
Yeah.
at?
that you feel like you could just pick up and play? Like you've played it the most or you're the best at it?
Shamefully, probably Mario Kart for the Wii.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You're pretty good at that.
yeah.
Practice.
When I rocked that bullet cycle, you know,
Yeah.
Wait.
do some damage. There we go.
Open a beer.
Thanks.
You're welcome,
Thank
audience.
you,
Yeah.
Micro Winslow.
I think I've beaten you at Mario Kart.
When I handicapped myself.
Yeah.
When I let you.
Not. I
blindfolded.
certainly haven't beaten you most of the time, but.
I know.
Yeah, no,
I know
what-
Caitlin's answer.
Well, she's allowed to talk for herself.
I know. I wasn't gonna.
No, he doesn't let me do that.
I know. Surprised he let you out of the car.
You sit
As
there.
she
Windows
yeah.
rolled up.
Every week she comes to the podcast, but she has to stay in the car.
He knows I'll just turn on his windshield wipers and stuff, so when he comes back, he's like, oh, what is
And
this?
reprogram all his radios to like
Yeah.
Taylor Swift stations.
All
No,
of my
I wouldn't do
radios.
that
I only
to
have one
anyone.
radio in my car.
She hates
plural.
Taylor Swift,
I
dude.
hate
I
Taylor
know.
Swift.
That's why it was like
I'm gonna-
I would not give her any
Steal her.
airtime, not even to torture my
T-Swift.
husband.
T Swift.
I love Taylor Swift.
That's cool, you're allowed to.
Okay, good. I didn't think I was.
No, other people can love her as much. Just don't make me listen to her or look at her weird cat face.
I was gonna say I
Wow.
think Taylor Swift would play a good elf. I think
Jake?
she's got very elven
Yeah,
features.
she's also super tall. That would work.
Jake,
Yeah,
just
she's
shake
a
it
leggy blonde.
off. Just shake it off.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Anyway.
bad blood here right now.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So-
too much. Anyways, the game the game that I'd be really good at is a game that no one knows about except for me and Eliza. It's called Super Puzzle Fighter
Oh, I've played it at their
Turbo
house.
HD.
Turbo HD Remix.
Yep.
I've
Is
played-
the one on the Xbox.
She always kicks my
I will
ass.
say I've never seen Eliza more confident in her skills at a game. I've never seen her play, but
Yeah.
I played it with Jake, and she knows she's the best.
Oh, but I am.
Oh.
Who do you think taught her everything she
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's on record, guys.
Throwdown begins.
Yeah.
does? Anyways, I'm really good at that game and it's lots of fun.
For me, I think lately the games I play lately are at barcades.
Yeah.
And
I know. Yeah.
probably there's a couple that I'm really good at right now at the
You can
barcade.
list them all.
I got Miss Pac-Man is like one that I feel like I'm pretty damn good at.
Yeah.
And Burger Time.
Mm-hmm.
Burger
Great.
Time.
He
Burger
owns
Time.
at Burger
I
Time.
kill at Burger Time. But
And,
as
Tapper.
far as overall my entire life, the game that I probably played the most was Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And I'm very good at that. I beat it once without dying, without warping. But I probably said that on this podcast.
Yeah, I know
already.
that one of the things
Yeah.
when you started Wheezy Gaming was
Yeah.
to try to.
Try to recreate that, but I
Yeah.
never got there. But I only had like 4 attempts at it, and then I stopped doing the game.
4 attempts. Should have done it in 3.
Sorry about that.
Unrelated, but I had never been to a barcade until I went for Eliza's birthday, and I didn't realize how many old school games were food based.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm really into it.
Yeah.
They were like, here, make a hot dog. This giant ice cream is chasing you. Serve these people beer. And
Right.
I'm like, yes, I will do all these things.
You've poisoned me
Food
too,
fight.
Craig. We were there a couple weekends ago, and all I did was play Burger Time and Tapper.
You've seen
And
the light.
pinball.
Well, it's because you've seen how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
And so now you know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just get sucked into the idea that
I
I
think-
could do that. I haven't
Yeah.
been able to. So
I think
far.
on the surface, Burger Time just looks like a silly thing, but once you dig deep into that game,
Yeah.
it's. I was trying to think of some sort of
Analogy?
beef metaphor, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna. It's just really good.
But it's a lot
Yeah.
more
It's
satisfying.
Real medium
hearty.
rare.
Yeah.
It's a lot more satisfying than a Pac-Man or.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple elements to it. You can also shoot pepper.
It's not just
Yeah.
avoiding things.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
throw pepper in a guy's face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, God! The pickle's only weakness, pepper.
What about you guys? What's your top game that you're best at?
If you asked me when I was in college, I'd say it'd be Super Nintendo Mario Kart. But now anyone could probably come in off the street and beat me. So I'd say the game that I've put the most time in would be basketball,
Yeah.
2K15.
Sure.
I could probably.
Did you play online ever?
I'm not a crazy person. I don't want to know how bad I am.
Okay, because I was going to say, the second you play a sports game online, you find out how good you really are.
I will say, when I took the last one I had for the 360, just 2K12, when I took that online, I didn't need to boost wins.
Yeah.
Like, I was able to win pretty easily just by knowing, like, hey, you know what everyone does is they always try and control the guy guarding you, and you can always outsmart them pretty easily. But you let the computer guard them.
Yeah.
So I would say now is probably a basketball game.
Okay. So 2K?
Yeah, I'd say I'll say 2K15.
Except when there's a team of other human players weighing you down, because when we played at your house, we had to be a team of Jordans before we could beat anybody.
Yeah,
well, that was our fault, not his fault. Yeah.
To be fair, you guys were pretty bad.
What's that sports game you were watching? The Super Hockey Goal?
Oh, yeah, there's a game. Oh, I want to tell you. First, give your answer, and then I'll tell you what the game.
Well, my answer's kind of boring, just because I probably spent the most time with, like, first-person shooters and stuff. So I would just say Halo, because I've played that so much. And I know there's people that are better than me, because people make millions of dollars playing that professionally. But in general, I feel like I can hold my own against most people.
Would you ever want to pursue that? Go make those millions.
The sad thing is I'm past the age where, like, I would have got drafted already. All the kids are, like, 18 to, like, 25.
If you get older, you just can't be good at it anymore?
I feel like my reaction time probably has slowed down a little bit, but it's more just, like, just embarrassing. Like, I could be a coach.
Yeah, you could go in as the coach who's been there, who's seen it all.
Yeah.
So it's more of a cultural thing. Like, you'd feel
really
weird
is.
tring to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What I was going to say is, when you were over last, we talked about our sports league.
Yeah.
That would have sport players from every sport in one sporting event.
So the idea was that every city has to have a pool of players that they play all the sports with.
Okay.
But you don't know what game you're going to go into. So you draft a team, you might go like, okay, we got LeBron and we got blah, blah, blah. But then it's just like, it's hockey.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, LeBron can't skate.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be fucking awful out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just draft a team and then you hope that they're just universal athletes. But there's actually a game on Steam that came out.
That's every sport?
It's called like Super Touchdown Goal Score Let's Go or something like that. And what it is it's...
It combines the elements of the sports rather than just the players. Like
you pick a player from a different any sport you want. There's like roller derby, basketball, football. And they play on the same team. And your goal is to obviously score. But there's a hoop, there's field goals, and there's a net. And you have to get the one ball into one of the three things to score.
Does it matter, or does it have to be that player from that sport has to go in the
net? No.
So
like the football player can kick into the soccer net or through the uprights. The basketball player can shoot into the hoop or through the net.
Didn't they say that everyone can dunk?
Everyone can dunk. So there's like a still frame of like a hockey player who's bouncing a bowling ball on his stick while he tries to dunk. Just like, all right, touche.
Is it like 8-bit graphics, or is it like fancy?
It's probably like Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's the 32 or 16.
There's an arcade game I played last night at Headquarters, Barcade in Chicago.
Great name.
Free games, by the way. Free games.
Was it harder to get on them, though, since you didn't have to pay?
When I was there on a Friday, but last night it wasn't. It wasn't. It was fine. But there's this hockey game. It's just you're two players. I can't remember the name of the game, but you each player, you have one joystick, but you're controlling the goalie and your player. It's a button and a joystick, the button to shoot. So you move around your player and the goalie at the same time with the joystick. So like you push.
So they're moving in tandem, like around.
Well, like the goalie just goes up and down.
Oh, okay.
But like you go up and then your player will go up. If the opposite player gets close to the goal, then like you have to move the goalie up and down, but also like push back so your player gets over there.
But also you kind of just like have to make a decision. Like if he gets by you then have to just use it for the goalie.
Yeah.
It's almost like foosball for hockey.
Yeah. It's like it was really fun, but the challenge was just the controls, the clunky controls. So that's my sports.
I also like the sports game. The games were divided up into half times, but there were like 4 half times per game.
Yeah.
It was like if someone asked me how sports work, and that's what I would have.
There's a couple of half times in there. And
I think like the hockey guys need to dunk. I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Great.
And then the judges choose the prettiest team.
Yeah, based on their uniform colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, sports, right?
Sports. You know what's another game I was really good at?
Transition.
Nope.
I know.
Same subject.
WCW NWO Revenge for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I still got that game.
So, I mean, I could probably still hold my own on that pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of games that we're good at. But I just didn't know if there was like one game you're like, yeah, this is my jam.
NBA Jam.
Yeah, NBA Jam's a great game.
Back in the day, I was really good at Pod Racer on N64.
Yeah.
I
I think
could
you know
race
what?
the hell out of
What's
pods.
crazy? I think you were the only person that played that. So you
Yeah.
probably are the actual best person at that game.
The world champion. You could set a record somewhere
Yeah, I probably should.
for only guy to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm only good at Pod Racer in real life.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, being a CG character.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
I live a different life.
There was a hockey game that's kind of like NBA Jam. I don't know if anybody's ever played it. At the time, the only place I'd ever seen it was in Canada. So when I was up there playing hockey, I would play it all the time. It's called like Hit the Ice, and it's like 2-on-2. Plus you have a goalie, and it's just very like NBA Jam or like NFL Blitz, where you can just check and hit people in the face with sticks and stuff. All the characters are all like cartoons. And then I forget what you do to get it, but every once in a while you can get like a Gatorade drink, and if you do, it makes you like super powered. You like Hulk out for a second, and you do a slap shot where you like do a flip over, and then it goes through players and stuff.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun.
Actually, that just sounds like regular Canadian hockey. To me.
Yeah, that's how you play. Those are Canadian rules.
What was the Nintendo hockey game that was like it had fighting built into the game? Like
Well, Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey
Yeah.
had it for the Nintendo 64. If you're going
Genesis
earlier.
had one too, right? Genesis had a hockey game. Where
Well,
you could
there's
fight.
Mario Lemieux hockey.
I'm thinking
There
of
was just-
Nintendo.
There was like NHL
it was just
94, which
there's
is on
just one called
Genesis.
just ice hockey, and it was
Yeah.
3 characters. You picked
NES.
a fat guy, a skinny guy,
Yeah.
or normal size, and they all had their own stats.
But did you fight in that game too?
No, I don't
And
think
there's
we did.
another one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
There was 2 hockey games that came out for the NES that I remember distinctly. One of them was just ice hockey.
That's the one I know.
Right,
I
and
don't
the other
know
one
the-
I don't. It might have been Gretzky. I think it was Wayne
Blazing Ice or
Gretzky's.
something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got into a conflict, and then the game would become a fighting game, and then it's 2
Oh,
players.
you're thinking
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Shaq Fu.
No, I'm always thinking of Shaq Fu, but
Yeah.
that's not what I was thinking
He
of.
thinks of it so much he knows the
Yeah.
difference now.
I wish that like if you were playing NBA 2K15, you could get into a fight and then it just transport you to the world of Shaq Fu, and that'd be great. But you always have to play as Shaq.
I think I remember the name of the game. It was Blades of Steel.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That sounds right.
Nintendo. Look it up, kids. Yeah. What are you playing right now?
What am I playing right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's normal show etiquette.
That's- yeah,
now.
well,
Now we're
that's
getting
fine.
into show
Well, why
stuff.
not? Yeah. Why
Yeah,
don't we?
let's
why
keep
don't
this
we-
train rolling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's Destiny.
No, not yet. I've been taking a break from Destiny because the new expansion comes out in a couple weeks.
It just means
Yeah, you don't
like,
wanna
he's
waste your
taking a
time.
break while he's recording a podcast.
Yeah, I'm playing under the table right now with my feet.
I feel like I took a break from Destiny throughout my 20s.
Nice. But no, I've been playing Gears of War Ultimate Edition, a remake of the first game that came out in 2006, just came out for the Xbox One. So they completely redid the graphics and the cinematics and all that jazz. That came out 2 days ago, so that's
You
kind
really
of
like the cinematic
focused on my time.
redoings.
Yeah, I mean, I like replaying games that I enjoy. So if they give me an excuse because they're like, hey, this is brand new, this is, well, not brand new, but this is like a new fancy wrapper on the old Malibu Stacy, like, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
This
Same but
game-
different.
This game is not as far as a leap as, like, let's say, like the Halo 1 to, like, the anniversary.
Yeah.
But because it was the best looking game on the 360, and the entire, trilogy was on the 360, but it still looks a lot better, and like multiplayer especially. Like I was never into like, oh, every game's got to be 1080p, like 60 frames a second, but 60 frames a second really does make a difference. Like nowadays, I would say, like it's just so crisp and different and clean and fun. And Gears of War especially was a game like that was like my multiplayer game for the 360. I mean, until like Halo 3 came out, but like that was the only like competitive multiplayer game. That's where I like built all my friends around. Like everybody on my friends list are people that I played Gears of War 1 with.
Sure.
So.
It's weird. 60 frames per second. I'll see comments on my YouTube videos that like people are angry that I'm not in 60 frames per second with my videos.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole like people are super into graphics and all the things. now, and like especially with PCs, that's always been like the thing is like you gotta have the best graphics all the time.
Well, that's fine for a game too, though. I feel like video still belongs at 24p.
Oh, I agree entirely.
But I'm
Unless
wondering
it's
if that's just because we're old men. Like,
no.
No.
Well, here's
These
the thing.
whippersnappers.
I mean, we can argue the filmic look all day, but like I still think you gotta always do 20 frames a second, and like you can even 30 just looks like garbage to me. It just looks like
24?
a bad.
Yeah,
24. Sorry, but it just looks like like a soap opera or something.
Yeah.
And like watching the TVs that have the super high refresh rates and stuff.
Oh god, it's awful.
Oh, I hate the
it's
look
so
of it
disgusting.
too. I hate it too, but I think it's just cultural. It's just ingrained in us because growing up, when we saw 24 frames per second, that's like, oh, we're watching a movie.
Yeah.
But when we saw 30 frames, we're watching some crappy TV show or British movies or something.
Yeah.
But that's just an association we have. That's not like kids growing up might not even have that association.
I think they're only going to yell 60 frames per second because that's just the thing to yell about.
That's the max.
That's fair,
too.
but like I'm gonna use Phil Chest. Have you said your last name on this?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna use Phil's TV as an example.
His home address.
Because Phil's address. No, but like you put a game on that TV and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's got that super high refresh rate and everything.
Right.
Then we tried to watch an episode of Community on it and it looked like
garbage.
It did. It looked like a Spanish soap opera.
Yeah, it looks like a play.
Yeah, but again, you're
like I was watching a play.
Yeah.
You're comparing it to some other show. That you're making an association with the look of it to the content.
I think his argument is valid, but I also will say that once you get to 60 frames a second and like 120 or above refresh rate, it looks different than real life. It looks more, not organic. Like it looks very artificial and very weird.
Yeah. I think so.
It's beyond even like just watching a TV show.
It turns real life into the uncanny valley.
I mean, I try to move around at 45 frames per second.
It's just like a lot.
But no,
my eyes don't have that refresh rate.
But I'm still wondering though if it looks that way because we're just trained to think that.
I think it's part of that, and part of it is just the way I think our eye perceives things. Like once you start getting crazy refresh rate, then our eyes just don't pick it up like they should.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, then there you have it, folks. Shut up. We're staying with 24 frames per second in video.
I think you just stay with whatever you
But
think
for
looks
video
the
games,
best.
I will say that 60 frames a second does look pretty nice. Especially with a lot of action and movement and explosions and all that stuff.
Okay, so then why is that? Why does it look nice in video games?
Well, I think because it is all CG, it's all artificial, that it looks... It's funny because it somehow makes it look closer to real life, but less like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't
This
think we're
is
going to
like
figure this out here
deep,
today.
yeah.
To me, frames per second don't mean crap. Like, everyone always complains about 60 and 30, but then I go back and I play Mega Man, and I'm just like, okay, I'm fine with this.
Phil, we get it. You're playing Mega Man.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, I've never been into the whole, like...
It certainly doesn't matter back then at all.
But I mean, like now, just like everyone who, like, right now the big debate between Xbox One and PlayStation 4 is that PlayStation 4
not
usually...
anymore.
Well, not anymore, but used to have every game at 60 frames per second, and Xbox One couldn't reach that. So everyone would bitch and moan and be like, PlayStation 4 is the best and Xbox One's terrible. But, like, you could put the games side by side, and I guarantee you, like, 80% of the people could not tell the difference between the games running.
I think that's true.
Also,
I honestly think it's just one of those things where it's a number that someone can pinpoint and they can go, I made the right purchasing choice because I can get up to 60 frames per second, and you made the wrong one because you can only get to 30.
Though, even if you can't notice it, if you don't notice it, if you put them side by side, there might be a more subtle effect that people just don't realize. Like when I think of like color correction when I'm doing video, like color corrected, like good stuff episodes versus when we didn't. Like if you, to me, I can tell very stark difference. But I think people just watching, they'll have nothing to compare it to. They're
it's
not
subconscious, though.
But subconsciously, it does draw you in more when it looks better. Just
Absolutely
when it,
does.
even if you don't realize it.
I'm color correcting episode 9 of Pops right now, and I'm so relieved at how good everything looks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know too much about color correcting, but it's like when you watch a TV show and there's
shut up!
Shut your damn face! Shut your beard!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just the beard.
That was hurtful.
That was weird.
I think this is why
You
Phil is
talked out of
leading
your
the
beard just
podcast.
now.
Yeah.
I think it's a war between Chris and Caitlin, the two C's over the P.
Please do not.
Couldn't have been phrased better.
Yes.
I'm out. Never mind. No, I was just gonna say, like, when you're watching a TV show and something is supposed to be at night, or it's not supposed to be at night, but you
shooting
could.
day for
Day for
night.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's clearly the wrong time of day, and they just put a weird filter over it, and you're like, this
No,
doesn't.
they just darkened everything.
Yeah, you're like, this doesn't look right. I think the opposite of that is like when it's tweaked, you don't realize it looks way better than what I could have been looking at.
Yeah.
So I think you have to imagine everything looked like that weird nighttime scene that wasn't nighttime.
Pushing Daisies tried to do like shoot in really bright, like a basement scene and like all completely flatly lit, and then do all the darkness with vignetting.
Really?
And you can really tell. Yeah.
Yeah. You
It's,
can certainly tell the
But
difference.
that show was highly stylized anyways.
Yeah. So I mean,
it,
it could be acceptable as part of their plan, but
yeah.
it just seems like more work on their part.
it does. It does seem like, and maybe not for their shooting day, but for post.
Yeah. Certainly to get all those colors to pop the way they did, they would have had to do. Yeah, nice.
Bring
Welcome
back.
to Color Grading is Fun anymore, guys.
Yeah.
The new
So what
podcast.
I like to do, the way I like to color correct.
I mean, nothing's a better medium to talk about color correcting than podcast.
Yeah.
If everyone could please pull out their textbooks and look at figure 6A.
Sorry, guys, we're filmmakers and video game players. That's
Yeah.
what we talk about.
And I'm neither.
But
what
you guys
are you playing right
Video games?
now?
What are you talking about?
You're doing both
I
on a
don't-
channel.
I don't play many video
Phil
games.
just wanted attention.
Yeah, I was like, focus on me, guys. Come on.
I was thinking about this though, and I was thinking about how it's wrong for me to chastise Phil for his
When you don't do it either.
no for his constant desire to like for his desire for the throwback thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, all you want to play is the ones that look like the new games that look like the old games. All you want is like 8-bit side scrolling, that. And so like
Fun games.
I like yelled at you during the Pixels episode over
Yeah.
that.
We all yelled at everything.
But like all I want is to watch like revival cinema. I mean, what, like I'm the
Yeah.
same person as you, man. So
it's you're just nostalgic for different things.
yeah.
yeah,
I'm nostalgic for those video games that I think of when I was like 8 years old, and I could just stay up all night and be like, this is the best thing in my life.
Yeah.
And then like you were more into obviously film and TV and
right.
stuff like
I mean,
that.
if you look at music videos now and like all the pre-roll ads, I mean, it's all got like a less saturated look, like somebody stuck a 70s Instagram filter over it.
As far as
Not just
old
desaturated.
school video games, I'm totally with Phil that I haven't played a game. Once in a while, a game will come around that'll be pretty good, but it's never the same as when I was like up all night playing Zelda or Super
Yeah.
Mario Brothers. or
Because
something.
you're 34, your life's
Exactly.
over.
Well,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. Sometimes I'll talk to people like my age who will be like, video games just aren't good anymore. And I think they're definitely making different kinds of games now than they were before. They're also making they're just making way more games now. You can
Yeah.
find many. The popular ones are the ones that probably, are very different than what we were used to.
Yeah.
But
Everyone just sounds like Adam Sandler and Pixels now. You know?
But it's I think there's many reasons why we don't like the games now, and it's not just the games themselves. It's because we're older.
Well, yeah, it's
because-
like we're just trying to
Yeah.
recreate our childhood. Like that's what we sort of imprinted on. That's the greatness. Like they certainly are making great games nowadays, and there is that whole wide spectrum of like, hey, if you want a game that's completely 8-bit using the old technology and all that stuff, you can find that out there.
But to get even more visual about this, I think that you are not.
Yeah.
I don't like. We are separated by sides of tables, okay? Because
Literally.
because you, Chris, are
Yeah.
very much about the new games, and you're always up on what's next, and you're totally into it. And Craig also, like, I'm going to the revival cinema. He's saying we need to do more stuff on the web. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like. It's
You're
just
saying it's new school versus old school,
yeah,
table wise.
Yeah,
So
let's
Caitlin's in the
beat
middle.
the shit out of
I'm
that.
gonna need some Jets and Sharks style finger snapping. So go.
You want me to snap their fingers off?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
please. Just don't snap off Phil's. He needs those for making me dinner.
Oh,
Well,
he's on my team.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're the old school.
Well, that would have been perfect if I would have actually prepared for this podcast, because I was going to do a retro version of all our podcast games.
Can you live stream a battle royale of us physically fighting each other?
Yeah, and then I was going to bring in an NES and have the final round be something. I don't know.
Play
But I was trying
in
to look up trivia and it's not great. So I would have had to spend a lot of time trying to look up stuff because it's like anytime you try to look up like old school or retro trivia, it's all like, hey, this arcade machine made this much money.
Yeah.
Like, who programmed this game? It's like, I don't
care.
Yeah, I don't care, and I like that.
Is that the answer? I don't care.
Yeah, that's usually the answer.
Always Steve Buscemi. Like, wow, I didn't even know he was into video game programming.
Yeah, wow, he does a lot.
He does everything.
He's a man of talent.
Wow. He's Mr. Pink on Reservoir Dogs, kids.
Yeah,
because that's a new school reference.
He's Chet and Barton Fink.
He's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. They probably know him.
He's the homeless guy in Big Daddy. I think that's where we all know him from.
That was like 15 years ago.
Isn't he also the homeless guy in Mr. Deeds?
I guess the newest thing
Let's
is
be real, he
Boardwalk
looks homeless.
Empire.
Yeah.
I guess. For Steve Buscemi. I haven't seen him in anything
He was
else.
the private investigator in 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Welcome to Buscemi days.
This is Buscemi talk.
This isn't Buscemi anymore.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Buscemi.
That's the new podcast,
You know what,
right?
though? We could probably get Steve to talk about it.
Yeah, he'll do anything if you book him in time.
You know what we should talk? What are you doing? So you're going to still do the podcast? You're saying Phil is leaving.
Let's talk about Phil leaving.
Let's
get
really make
focused.
So
this
what are you
an
gonna
emotional.
What are you going to do with your time?
My time is I'm gonna try and as opposed to taking whatever 2 hours a day or 2 hours a week
day.
to podcast, I'll probably try
Do
and
6 hours.
do 2 hours a week of videos.
Okay.
What do you do? How are you recording your video games?
I do it through my PC. I have a gaming PC. It's just hooked up to my main TV.
Would you have the Roxio HD capture card?
If I'm doing something off of my 360, then I have a capture card.
Cool. And on your PC, do you screen capture it, or
No, I do. I use XSplit to record, and that's just kind of like I don't know if you've used it, but that's kind of like a tool set where then I can also add in. I can have the game, and then I can have a camera facing me, and it kind of does one output, and then I just record that output.
So you're going to be in the corner while you play?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. And then I put myself in the corner, and then I can just record
Nobody
it.
puts Phil in the corner.
I can be in the
I
middle.
do that a lot, actually.
I can be in the middle, but it'd cover up a little bit of the game.
That's Dirty
This
Dancing,
isn't
kids.
Swayze
That's
anymore.
Yeah. Not Havana Nights, the original.
Yes.
But then with
Havana
XSplit,
Nights is perfectly
you
terrible.
can also do
Havana Nights is awesome.
But do they have the line, nobody puts baby in the corner?
They don't, but they do have Patrick Swayze. I don't know
Yeah.
what you want.
He does make a cameo in it.
Speaking of portrait.
He's a little older, though, in that one.
Yeah, it's weird, right? He's
little.
also wearing, subtly, he's wearing high heels because he's, kind of a tiny person. So,
Is he? Really?
they
Yeah.
zoom in
And
on his
Roller
feet,
Garai.
and he has...
I guess I need to
Rocket
watch that
heels
movie
anyway.
more.
Yeah, there's a lot of camera tricks going on in Roadhouse.
Yeah. He's wearing high heels in that, too.
Yeah, the whole time.
So I use, Elgato Game Capture.
Yeah,
HD.
it's funny, I was looking up this week. I was thinking about, since this podcast may disappear for a little bit, I was looking at the game capture cards. But then after doing my Gears of War live stream...
You ever won. Your one could just go to Twitch, though. You'd only need a capture card for, older systems.
Yes, and that's certainly the easier way to do it. But one, I would then, if I wanted to do, take a 5-hour game and make it 1 hour or something, like a 1 hour video.
Yeah, you needed to be able to edit
But
it.
my thing is, because the kids love their 60 frames a second, is my upload speed is not fast enough to stream 1080p, 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
And so, unless if I want a 360 resolution on YouTube, I would need a capture card to actually do
Record it.
Yeah. So, but after doing the Gears of War thing, I don't know, Phil, what are your tips, or Craig too, of streaming? How do I constantly talk while playing a game?
I will say that the first thing I had to do, because 40 quarters I didn't do that. I just reviewed.
And
that was
when we would
different.
play games together on Twitch, we wouldn't really talk that much.
What I had to do was the first thing when I did Mega Man, the first video of Mega Man, I had to have a friend there, so then I could at least...
Yeah.
So then I had somebody to talk to, and it could have been about the game, but at least it's then you don't feel so weird that you're just talking to a camera.
Yeah.
You're not just oh, here I'm going to go try and shoot this guy. You could just be oh man, crazy meat boy over here is just dying all the time, and whatever. You can start whatever crappy dialogue it's going to be. What I will say, when I did Turok and when I did Massive Chalice, I picked games that I knew I had enough to say before going in. Turok, obviously, I could just talk about how shitty the game was. In Massive Chalice, there's a lot to explain, so I knew that I'd have a lot to say to begin with. When I start going deep into the list, and I'm okay, shit, I got to talk for an hour about Regency Solitaire, that might be a little bit
Best game ever.
Yeah.
a little bit more difficult, but I mean,
For me, it depends on the game. But I'll just come up like for Zelda. I would rely on just singing along to the music.
Yeah.
It was a good time. And
People
Zelda
love it.
itself is easy to because it's screens. It just goes from one still screen to another. So every time you go to another screen, it's all new stuff, and then you can just like say, "Oh, there's that thing there. Oh no," it's like there's something to comment on. But for Dark Souls, I edited it heavily because I was redoing stuff, and there'd be long periods of time where I was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. So I'd have to look around, and I'd have to concentrate and not talk for a while. Third thought, though, I don't think it necessarily matters if you're talking all the time. Some people don't. Some gamers don't talk all the time. Sometimes you get immersed in the experience along with the person playing, and then when you do talk, it's more powerful. Like if something happens, you're like, whoa! If everyone's like lulled in this calm silence and experiencing it along with you, and then something happens, and then you like scream, and then everyone screams. That's just my thoughts.
Or it's just, if you are going to be one who talks, I would just say, like, as opposed to having anything internal, just say it as you
Just
think.
say everything, try to describe everything that's happening. Or what
not even everything that's happening. Like, if you're playing Gears of War, you don't kind of be like, well, I'm going to go down this corridor, here I am walking, I have a gun now.
Well, that's kind of what was happening. I was kind of explaining the mechanics of the game, and I was like, at the end, when I was fighting this boss, my stupid AI partner kept just standing right in front of it and dying over and over, so I was like pushing him with my body to try to get him out of the way and doing all this other stuff. But a lot of the times, it's just like, okay, I'm going to sit behind this wall and shoot this guy until he's dead. Now I'm going to go to this other wall.
Yeah, I would see, like, I don't know, I'm not an expert by any means, but I would almost, like, suggest picking, if you're going to say, like, hey, I'm going to start doing videos.
Yeah.
And I would pick a game that you know ahead of time that you have a lot to say about. That maybe like Massive Chalice was a good example because when we did the podcast about Massive Chalice, we took forever just to explain the mechanics of the game. Mm-hmm. So I knew that when I recorded the game, like I didn't have to re-pick everything, but just like there's a lot on screen that I can explain what's happening.
Yeah, I think just like running commentary, like just saying what your brain is saying. I think that's fair game because that's what the React videos do too. I mean, there's a lot of like fun stuff where people are just like, what's this guy doing?
Oh. I would also say, I've definitely had this feeling doing gaming, but especially doing certain Wheezy Waiter videos. It's probably going to end up being more entertaining for people than you think. Often it will, because you'll be sitting there not talking for a long time, and then you'll say something, and you're like, this is stupid, this is boring.
Yeah, why would anybody watch this?
But you're not seeing it the way they're seeing it, and I think I've done one of the examples I use for Wheezy Waiter, I edited it after the fact, so I had that benefit. But when I put on my girlfriend's makeup, I did that video. It's one of my most successful videos. And at the time of shooting it, I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. I thought it was going to be so boring and lame. And I actually really.
But your running commentary was really funny.
Yeah. But it was heavily cut down. But I didn't realize that all the things I was saying cut together, like one right after the other, was enough stuff. It was enough.
Well, and also like when you're doing the game, the people, not everybody, but some of the people watching are experiencing that game for the first time too.
Yeah.
So they get involved in watching that, and you're just another component in it. You know. So like your reactions would be their reactions. You know.
Yeah.
They're just experiencing it through you.
They have plenty of stimulus coming at them.
Yeah. If you pick a game that you haven't played too, because then you can have that genuine reaction where you're just like, oh shit, what's this guy gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh, he's shooting at me, and then you can, whatever. If you're playing a game like, you've played Arkham Origins, or what's the new one, Arkham Knight. You've played that 2 times through recently. Yeah. That if you played that again, you might not have as much to say.
I wouldn't say anything.
Because you're just like,
it's all on autopilot.
Yeah, you already know, okay, I know that this guy's gonna shoot here, so you'd have less to say.
Want that visceral first time reaction.
But if you were to all of a sudden go back and pick up a new game or whatever it's gonna be, whether it's Turok or whatever, and you haven't played it, at least you can kind of say oh shit, what's that kind of bad guy? What's his kind of attack? There's at least...
And that is what I'm talking about with you as well, because so far you've only played games you've played before.
Yeah.
I would like to see you play a game for the first time.
I plan on doing that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Another question I have is, I don't really like the camera on me.
Oh, you don't have to have the camera on you.
Come on.
Well, see, that's my question. It just seems like people get
I didn't do it.
You have to.
I just
have to
didn't do it because I didn't feel like editing it in.
I feel like you have like a known face though, so people are like,
Right.
"Oh, I know who this is," versus like, "No one knows who Chris is."
But also, it's like sometimes I don't want to put on pants. You know, I
You don't have to have the camera
I
that
don't want
low.
to clean my room. Well, no, I just have the crotch camera.
I was gonna say Phil has never yet worn pants on his videos.
Yeah, it just seems like people are more engaged, even though they're not going to watch you because they're going to be watching the game. For some reason, people, it seems to me, just looking at like Twitch streams and stuff, the people that are on camera have more views.
Yeah, it does.
True.
People do really like that.
Yeah.
So
Because
If
I think it goes to their reactions.
Yeah.
If you're playing something, they want to see that you're like, oh shit, like that. Like if you're playing a horror game, they want to see that from you, as opposed to just like, oh shit, and then they don't see your face and they don't know that maybe you're faking it or
Like
whatever.
I spend more
So why
time
don't you wanna do that?
on
Right.
videos where I see the person and the thing that they're playing because I'm watching them play, and then when something happens and I hear their reaction, I back it up to watch their reaction.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So why don't you want to do that?
I just don't like dealing with the camera, like I said, and having it to be on me and stuff. And I feel like I'm probably pretty boring. I'm probably just sitting there.
But that's natural. Like I think when I was doing
I think you guys are really overthinking this.
yeah,
honestly.
when I was doing Zelda, I would do this sort of fake because I talk about how I played it before. I know this game backwards and forwards, but then I'd sort of fake like anticipation, like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
But I was doing it kind of jokingly, but the commenters hated it because they thought I was trying to lie to them, like I was genuinely reacting.
You weren't sarcastic enough.
Yeah, I guess so. And
sincerity is key.
yeah, so then from that point on, I stopped and I just was honest 100% the whole time, straightforward, and they loved it. So I think like if you're just playing honestly like a normal person would play the game, but just talking
So that's
more.
why having a
Yeah.
new experience, like playing a new game, is probably the most
Yeah,
important.
but if you
thing
do
to
play a game that you have played before, just be honest about it. Just like, you know.
You can play an old game that you've never played before.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can play Kickle Cubicle. There's always room for more Kickle
I mean,
Cubicle
I have played
videos.
it. Yeah.
The internet's screaming for Kickle Cubicle.
Yeah.
Caitlin, what's your
Yes.
opinion on this? You've been quiet.
I was gonna say.
Okay,
Chris,
that's enough time for you.
You know what?
Every time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jam this microphone somewhere he doesn't want it.
All right, P. Which seat?
Probably under the couch.
I think Caitlin.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What'd you ask him?
He asked me which C I loved more. And
Oh yeah,
obviously
definitely me.
I'm
No
going
contest.
going home with one of them.
Oh, there's a third C in the room all of a sudden.
all
of a
right.
sudden.
He's been in here.
I wasn't here at my
This
CG
whole
guy
time
was
he's been
here.
spelling it with a
We
K,
keep-
and we didn't know.
We keep cutting off little old Caitlin.
I was gonna say,
She's
way back.
She's little. She's not old.
Yeah. There's so many short jokes flying around today.
Yeah. All over your head.
Craig, I love watching videos of dudes putting on makeup. It's hilarious.
Oh.
So you made the right choice.
Well, thank you. But at the time, I didn't realize it was going to be entertaining at all. I really thought it was going to be
Solid
boring.
gold.
Yeah.
Solid
Yeah.
gold. Every time I watch a dude put on makeup, I'm like, yes, this is the best.
Because when I'm doing it, I don't see it, so I
Yeah.
don't realize how ridiculous and entertaining it is
But
to
like
see it.
also like boys are just not used to the sensation of like jabbing yourself in the eye with a brush or whatever. So they're always like, why do they do this? And
Next video, shaving your legs.
Yeah.
that's also entertaining. Just putting that out there.
All right,
Just-
cool.
Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, I think you need to come over your like natural assumption that people don't care and just really get into the internet mindset of everyone
cares every little thing that I do. I guess
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I don't like really use Twitter or.
Yeah, I can only tweet when I'm tweeting about So You Think You Can Dance, and I'm always amazed at the response I get. I get
Yeah.
like new followers, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't do
Are
anything.
you hashtagging?
I hashtag
Yeah, there
every
you go.
tweet with So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
need a hashtag.
One time,
People dive into hashtags.
Hashtag full penny.
People
a
just need
dancer
things to talk
followed
about.
me after getting booted off of So You Think You Can Dance. And I'm like,
Boom!
we're dance friends now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
But anyways, I'm just saying, like, people care
Yeah.
way more than you think they should. Just as long as you properly label it, someone will show up.
Also,
properly labeled.
same
That's it.
thing I've been
Not
saying
into
for
labels.
same thing I've been saying for years about making stuff is that you probably should just jump into it. Don't even worry about getting the perfect frame rate or if you should point the camera at you or not. Just do what you can now easily and just do it. And then,
Yeah. Just like a
and
pops. It looks
evolve.
like garbage to start.
Yeah. And then evolve as you go. You know.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you get too wrapped up in trying to make it perfect right away, you might never start. You know.
It's good advice, kids.
Well, and it's also just about like getting like the idea that because you act differently at the beginning of the videos. You always have to warm up into your videos. It seems like.
Yeah, well, because the camera, I know that no one is watching the game.
Oh, right. Because you're introducing
because
it.
I'm introducing it. So it's different when the game's playing. I know that people's focus, let's say, out of 100%, 80% is focused on the game and 20% is on what I'm saying or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to kind of
You'll get
relax in there. But when it's just like, all I have is a little picture in the corner that says whatever the game's going to be, Mega Man, Massive Chalice, whatever it is. I know that everyone's just staring at my fat face, and they're just like,
it's not
what is he going to do?
It's not helped by the fact that the camera stretches you, makes you look fat, actually, which you're not in person. But you also, like, unfortunately, that's the start of your video, so people think you're going to have a hard, not...
You're a scary whale man who's trying to eat them.
Throughout the whole video.
Just not comfortable to start with, and you get comfortable as soon as you switch the screens over.
But what about not? Why do you have to have an intro? Why not have the intro while you're playing? Why not just jump right into it?
I could.
That's awesome.
I was just like, I guess my thought was always just like, well, I should set up the game.
But
not like a long setup. I'm not like, Mega Man was developed by Shigeru Mikabagago and it was made in 1980.
It was, Shigeru Mikabagabo.
Yeah.
He just died recently.
Usually I just have it in the corner. I'm just like, hey everybody, like today we're gonna play Kickle Cubicle, and
fictional characters don't live that long.
I switch the screen.
I would say jump right into it right away. I just saw there's a whole thing on YouTube. There's a whole tutorial or like the series of videos from famous YouTubers, like how to do it well, like how to.
Benzine?
Yeah,
I'm not one of them. No. But like different things you can do, like the way to thumbnail, the way to title your videos, and all this stuff. And Vsauce, are you aware of Vsauce? He's an educational YouTuber. He's very, very popular. He talked about how he doesn't like.
Craig is mistaken for him.
I look like him too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said something like. It's good to just jump right into the subject right away. Like if he's doing a video about, let's say, hamburgers or something. Don't start by saying, many people like hamburgers. Hamburgers are this, and then jump into it. Because if they're clicking on your video,
they want the content.
They
away.
They saw the title. They know what it's about. They're clicking because they know what it's about, and they're gonna just watch it. Like if you spend any time setting it up at the beginning, that's a chance of someone getting bored and going away.
Yeah.
Like
that's really good advice.
Well, I learned it from someone who looks like me.
Yeah. And certainly the internet culture too. It's like you have like 3-second window to catch their attention, otherwise they're going to move on to something else.
Yeah, and if they're clicking because they want to watch gaming, then you should probably just be gaming right away. That's what I think. Yeah.
I will do my best. I'm just thinking, I think that's good advice, and I think I can do that easily for like Mega Man stuff like that. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But like I was thinking, like I started a series which I've only had one video in, but I try and do like games that people haven't heard of or games under the radar. So to me, it'd be hard to like. Kickle Cubicle is the only one I've done, but it'd be hard to jump into a game that I perceive that no one knows about. Because if I was just like, this is Kickle Cubicle, and then just playing, and they're just like, what?
Well, no, I think that would work. Yeah. I think that's good because, like, if you're talking about it before you play, I'm just going to be sitting there like, what is this game? What is he talking about?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like if you talk about it while you're playing,
it's not like Kickle Cubicle also is that
mind-bendingly,
taxing.
yeah.
You know?
No, I know.
Like
but
you were talking over it anyway, so you could be like, this is a Kickle Cubicle, and then explain it as you're going.
Yeah.
I think he's saying all the stuff in the content of the video stays the same. Just jump right. Just don't do it. Just jump into it.
But I'm also thinking like Kickle Cubicle is like the basic one I have in my head, but I already know like the next 3 that I have lined up
Blades
in
of
that
Steel?
series.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Blades
one
of
of them is. Quest for Glory. I don't know if anyone's heard of that game. It's an old Sierra game.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I beat that game.
And Quest for Glory is a little bit more complicated than Kickle Cubicle.
Do you know the secret of the
But
lockpick?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
You can lockpick your nose, and if you're good enough at it, it says success. Your brain is open. But if you're not good enough, it'll actually kill you.
But are you saying that because it's a game that people don't know that you have to set it up first?
I'm saying that like the games that less people would know, I feel require a little bit more setup. If I'm playing a game like Mega Man, everyone knows Mega Man by the title. You can title your video Mega Man 2, and then people are going to go, I know what Mega Man 2 is.
Yeah.
But if, let's say, and this will never happen, I had more than 3 followers.
Well, sure.
If people were just like,
Stop saying that. You are going to be a star.
I'm gonna watch his videos no matter what he puts out, and then you put up a game and you're just like, hey, this game's called Quidgy Jobo, and they're like, what? Like they click on the video, but they have no idea based on the title what the game is. I feel like those games require a little bit more setup.
But I don't think.
I don't think
could be
people will
wrong.
click on it.
I don't think people will click away if you don't have a setup. I think if they've already clicked on it, that means that they're interested in seeing a game.
Quidgy Jobo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Quest for Glory.
What is Quidgy Jobo about, by the way?
Quidgy Jobo is a word game about making fake words to impress your husband.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very different.
One
for
of the
time.
first female-centered games.
Yeah. It's Scrabble, but you just make fake words.
Cool.
Like if you look at like you ever seen Nerd Cubed? He's a gamer. He's doing pretty well. I don't think I've ever seen his face. I've seen his face a few times. Like he'll have like other videos where I see his face, and I'll be like taken aback, like, whoa, I don't want to see your face. I want to see your
Yeah,
games.
if you hear somebody's voice for long enough,
Yeah.
it never matches then the face when you see it.
Yeah. But like I wasn't even interested in seeing his face. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to.
So wear a mask is what he's saying.
I'll try wearing
Yeah.
a mask and just jumping straight into it.
Yeah. But you can say it all while you're playing. I think you can still intro everything.
Yeah,
It'll give you more to talk about.
true.
So Craig, you haven't been on in a while. Is there any games that you've been playing the last year?
There is a game, I can't remember the name of it now. I found this game randomly. I think I played it on Steam. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So why don't you guys talk, and I'm gonna look up that game, and then I will talk about it.
You don't actually
Right.
have to go to the bathroom to look up your game. You
Yeah.
just pull out your phone.
No, but I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I really have
Okay.
to pull out something else.
Caitlin, what have you been playing recently?
Regency Solitaire, which I happen to know a couple of people in the credits of that game, which I was not expecting to see.
Really?
Yeah.
Like who?
I
Give 'em
don't
a
know.
shout out.
Maybe your mom and your sister.
What?
Yeah.
How are they in the credits of that game?
Your mom is credited as a tester, and your sister is under special thanks.
Must have been developed by her husband's brother's company.
I don't know. All I know is I was looking at it, and like Eliza was talking about how your mom just keeps playing it, and I was like, that's fine. That's a good game to play. And then I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, I know this name.
She plays it so much they put her in the credits.
And then I looked at the special things. I'm like, wait, I know that name too. And so I felt a little bit famous.
My sister's husband has a brother who is in the game development industry and does like he did another solitaire game. This makes sense. He did another solitaire game that my mom loved. It was like a golf solitaire game.
As you have.
Yeah.
As people
Because
make.
golf was not boring enough.
And she just loved it. And so like she was buying all of his games, and I don't know, maybe he made her a tester. I haven't heard of it, but I wouldn't be surprised because that woman loves her solitaire.
That's amazing.
Anyway.
Like
Do you want to be a tester on the next Regency
I
Solitaire?
clapped with delight. Yes, please.
the genuine surprise in Jake's face that he didn't know his mom and sister were in the
Yeah.
credits is pretty great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
But for real, everyone should play Regency Solitaire.
You
It's
should
really
talk to
fun.
my mom about it. Yeah, you absolutely should. She'd love to.
I haven't seen your mom in forever. I guess leaving the church kind of has that.
Yeah, like Caitlin was excommunicated from our
Right,
church.
yeah, it sounds like it. For marrying
Incorrect.
Phil.
Yeah,
I
because
still
of the Phil situation.
No, I got some
Just because
very
I tried to
nice
burn
letters
it.
saying they missed me there.
Yeah, no. They got an actual person with like a child education degree to replace you. Yeah. Not nearly as good.
An actual
No.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a real live person.
Okay.
Weren't replaced with a machine, an actual better person.
Anyways, Regency Solitaire is a lot of fun. That's what I've been playing mostly.
Is that the only thing you've been playing? I feel
Um,
like you play more games.
I do play more games. I dropped my DS.
Oh no.
So
In the
it's
toilet.
no, just on the ground, but the bottom screen is red now.
Oh, so it's like Virtual Boy.
You can see through it.
You can see what's
It
happening.
is Virtual Boy. It's very like it's a light red that just kind of washes over everything. So you can
Right.
definitely like read all the text and you can still play it.
Like
But
that
it-
screen's really angry all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time you're just like, I know this isn't the real experience.
Yeah, it makes me sad. So I bought Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney which I know is old, but you hear nothing but good things about it. And literally one day into it is when I dropped my DS and well, this is dead to me now until I can get a new one. So I played that. That was fun, but I can't imagine that's how the legal system works.
Can't you get a new one? Aren't you rich?
I'm not rich. I just bought a house.
Oh, sure. I assumed since you bought a house, you were rich.
No, I
That's how it
foolishly
works,
put
right?
all my money
we
into
didn't pay
that.
for the house in full. We didn't go there with just a briefcase
suitcase
full of
full of
cash.
cash.
We're
Yeah.
just
Like,
this
got
is
a house
our
for me?
house now, and we will never have to pay taxes or mortgages on it.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, other than getting into house law, the other game
What about bird law?
I haven't played this as recently, but I've never talked about it on the show, and this game drives Phil nuts because it's, according to him, really boring.
She did air
Those
quotes,
weren't
guys.
quotes. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what game this is.
I don't know what isn't exciting about a text-based choose-your-own-adventure game based on Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds a little boring to me.
You
What
bite
game
your
are we
tongue.
talking about?
It's called To Be or Not To Be.
Eliza beat it in 4 choices.
That depends on what choices you make, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a bunch
saying
of different
Eliza
endings.
beat it in 4 choices.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
really easy. You can choose to die almost immediately.
Well, it's Hamlet. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler, but
The main draw of it is the
Hamlet spoilers, guys.
yeah, is that the writing is really funny. Obviously, you're sitting down and reading.
And Kate Beaton's involved, right?
Well, she did some illustrations, but a lot of various people did illustrations.
I think I wouldn't say fondest. My least fondest memory of Caitlin playing that game is I think she actually played through the whole thing, read the entire book of
I
Hamlet
took
on
the
there.
Hamlet route,
The
the
Hamlet
solid
route, which
Hamlet
is
route.
the way you're supposed to, you'd read the book, and she's like, I'll join you in bed later. It was bedtime, and then 4 hours later, I woke up and she I can still see the glow from the television, and she's still sitting there playing well they really are extending this version of
Okay,
Hamlet.
so I don't know how familiar you are with the text of Hamlet.
I am.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming everyone has it pretty much memorized.
Memorized, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. To be or not to be, whether it is nobler in the minds to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune and raise arms against the sea of troubles, something.
Yeah.
See, I'm not
Yeah.
too familiar with Hamlet, but I've watched Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead a
That's
bunch
good.
of times.
That's good.
Anyway,
So it's pretty much the
Yeah.
so there's this part where Hamlet was in England, but then he comes back to Denmark, and
Yeah.
he kind of makes this offhand comment about how they encountered pirates, but they're dead now. So anyway, he's back. I know exactly who wrote To Be or Not to Be. He took issue with the fact that there were pirates involved, and they really didn't go into it. So to fix that, there's a solid hour of gameplay that's just very intense pirate battles, and
It's like trying to find oranges so you don't get scurvy.
no, it's a full-on battle, jumpping between ships, and
Yeah.
a one-on-one showdown with the pirate captain who you cut off his hand, and then you make a bunch of hand puns. And the guy who wrote it, he's also a linguist, so if you play as Hamlet's dad, they go into a whole thing about the difference between Danish and Finnish and how they can understand each other if you're concentrating, and really
real boring stuff.
Yeah.
Or
No, that sounds great.
I know it's hilarious, but I honestly thought this is wrapping up, but then we got into this really long pirate situation, and I can't just walk away from that.
No, you're in it.
Yeah.
It basically sounds just like Goat Simulator. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
To me, that game. Same
It's
thing.
it's not.
Okay.
I'm
Very,
I'm
very
familiar with
different.
both games. It's not that similar to
Oh,
Ghost
okay.
Simulator.
Okay. I've never played either one.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a choose your own
It's like
adventure,
Octodad,
and in
right?
the beginning you choose if you want to play as Hamlet, Ophelia, or Hamlet's dad. Which if you play as Hamlet's dad, you die right
instantly,
away.
yeah. And
But
Ophelia
then
doesn't
you
make
play
it very
as
far
this
either.
ghost, and you figure out.
You play as Ghost?
Yeah, you figure out that if you because ghosts can phase in and out of things. You, as Hamlet's dad, figure out that you can kill people if you phase into them and then become solid. So you go on this weird killing spree if you want to.
Yeah.
It gets
Whoa.
really weird, and I would highly recommend
Just
it.
as Shakespeare
But
intended.
only if you're into Hamlet. If this is your first experience with Hamlet, I would
Or
not
Shakespeare-based
recommend
comedy.
Yeah, I guess if you're really into Shakespeare-based comedy, that's
Tragedy.
It started out as a book, and then they're let's make this into a game. So
Right.
there's also a Hamlometer where it measures how closely you went to the story, and
Is it always on the screen or just the end?
just at the end when you
Okay,
finish
it's
your
if
story.
it was always on the screen, that'd be a little distracting.
You also get cards for dying in different ways. It's fun. I would recommend it. And eventually he's gonna have another one out called Romeo and or Juliet. I'm so excited, you guys.
Is that like a transgender game or?
Well, it's like a choose your own adventure,
Yeah.
but you can play as Romeo or Juliet.
You could play as both or one or the other.
You'd have to ask Ryan North. I don't know.
Ah, fine.
But that's a game that I played a lot of that Phil was like, you need to stop now. I can't use Steam if you're logged into this. Get off.
I will say to end the conversation, like, I understand when you get mad at me for playing a sports game for being boring, because when that was on the TV, like, all I thought about was just like,
Divorce.
this is the end of my life. This is how it ends.
I eat that shit up, and he's just like, why are you still playing this? This is the worst. And I'm like, yes. Did you get that joke? That's a reference to a different Shakespeare work. It's so good. That's an Othello thing.
But you have your Xbox in the basement. Can't you
Yeah,
just go
I mean,
Xbox?
from now, but I'm talking that was in the apartment.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Now
you
I
have
just
you have a
disappeared.
basement? That's wow.
We have
I live in a
house.
basement.
We have a house, dude.
You
kinda
can
does
come
too
over
now.
sometime. Are you allergic to cats?
Yes.
You can't come over.
Oh.
Yeah, you can stand outside and look through the
Lately,
windows.
cats haven't been bothering me that much.
Okay, well, you can come over, and we'll let you sit in the Chris chair, which is the chair we let Chris sit in so he doesn't die.
Because you're allergic to cats?
Yeah, and if I come over, I can sit on your lap or whatever.
High five. Nice. I went to the bathroom. I used the internet.
I thought you were gonna say that right after you touched my hand.
Yeah. I didn't wash them.
Yeah.
And I looked up my game that I played. I went to I go to Indianapolis like once every other month for shooting of YouTube shows.
Yep.
And
Can I be on
Mental
what's
Floss?
the one? The Mental Floss, or like what's the other one?
Crash Course.
Crash
you want
Course.
to be on them?
I've watched so much Crash Course.
Yeah. Do you want to be on?
I absolutely do.
You want to host?
Oh my god, that'd be.
What subject?
Hamlet.
Yeah. Boring video games.
There's already history and literature, which are like my jams. So
Yeah, they already covered everything.
all
So,
of it.
Uh,
All of it.
well, I'll talk.
Bird
to
law, maybe.
Bird law.
Yeah.
Bird law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah,
That's
she's Wilson
interesting.
in Bird Lab, but only in
Yeah.
Philadelphia,
Yeah.
not in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I was staying in a hotel by myself, alone, and bored, and sad, and crying. And
So you just masturbated.
well, that's a
say
different story. That's
A different
story.
podcast.
Yeah.
So.
I asked Twitter what video game I should play, and one guy suggested a couple that looked awesome, and one of them that I decided to play was Tesla Grad. It's an indie game that I'd never heard of. It's like this side scroller, but it looks beautiful. But it's a side scroller, and it's like kind of like Super Metroid, where you start out as just a normal dude and you gain skills and you can go back to the places you were at before.
Is there electricity involved?
There is electricity involved.
I think that's probably why they suggested it to you.
Yeah, could be. And it was like you get this one ability that's really cool, which is like you just hit this button and you jump forward like 10 feet, like over there, like so like if you're platform jumping, and
Yeah.
like it sets it up so it's like just far enough away so you have to like jump over and then like go over.
Teleport. Yeah.
Or if an enemy's coming
Or
at
blank.
you, you just phase in front of them. It's just a very fun game.
Yeah.
It's very fun. Tesla Grad. Check it out, kids.
Last time you were on the podcast,
Mm.
Phil and I suggested that you play Wolf Among Us. Did you ever get a chance to?
I played a little.
Didn't love it?
No, I did like it, but I didn't play it long enough to really get into it.
The thing is, you got to play a little bit before you really get sucked in.
Yeah.
No,
And Liza and I went crazy for it.
it's just that I didn't.
I feel like once you get to the end of the first episode, if you're not hooked then, you're not going to be.
Yeah.
I think I was liking it. I totally know that I could get hooked on it, but
Yeah.
I just didn't have the time. I haven't played hardly any games besides that and Tesla Grad
Yeah.
since we've talked.
I think that's one you could potentially play with China, like
Yeah.
like couple play.
Probably.
That's
Yeah.
a couple play for us.
It'll be it'll be it'll be a
I
it'll
regret
take convincing.
saying
She's
Yeah.
anything.
Hashtag couple play.
She's just not into video games. It would just take her. It would take convincing. It'd be like,
Well,
I
because
know
it's
you're
more-
not into video games.
because
So this
it's
is one
more
you like.
It's
Yeah.
more like storytelling.
Yeah, it's
all
not
just
like
if
video
you have,
games.
if you have the
Decision-based.
controller and you're just looking to her to be like, well, hey, what should I say here? Because it's
Yeah.
not like you don't have to like witness like first person shooting or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that. It's literally just like, hey, we're gonna go talk to Snow White and here are my 3 options. You
Right.
can kind of be like,
And
what do you think I
it's-
should say?
even
here?
It's
if you're,
all
like-
story. It's
It's
no
all
like
yeah,
downtime.
it's an
where you have
interactive
to-
story.
Where
That's
you
the
have
thing,
to
like,
like
and-
sit and watch someone shoot someone else in the face for 15 minutes until we get to the other.
And even
no,
if you
come
just
on.
play around, people start like chiming in. I
Mhm.
mean, that's just the
What was
nature
the
of
other one? Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
I
Yeah.
played that. He showed me that too. It's similar
Yeah, same
concept.
company.
It was it was before Wolf. Right?
That was
Yeah.
awesome. I enjoyed that just as much. That actually, there a little more for that one scene where you're like, you have to find the gun right next to you just in time. Like,
No, Walking Dead is better than Wolf Among Us.
Did you finish the whole season of,
I haven't
would
finished
agree.
the whole thing.
of
No.
Wolf Among Us?
Yeah, finished all of Wolf Among Us.
Okay.
Not all of Walking Dead.
Okay.
I loved. Oh my god, I loved the whole end of Wolf Among Us. I just loved it so much.
Yeah. That's why I wish there was another season. Like, it's been 2 years since they came out, and they haven't even talked about it.
Sure.
what?
Well, because they
been developing
expanded
Game
so
of
much. They have
Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, Tales from the Borderland, Minecraft, and Marvel, and like.
The fact that there's not more Wolf Among Us, it hurts me. It's like physically painful.
Is that the only one that's not based on something else?
Wolf Among Us is based on comic books.
It's called
right?
Fables, yeah.
Fables.
Well, forget it then. No.
And Back to the Future. I don't know if you listened to the last episode.
I did
Back
listen
to
to
the
the last
Future. They
episode.
did before they did Walking Dead. They did Back to the Future. It came out for PC and PlayStation 3, and they're releasing it on Xbox One and PS4.
Have you played it?
October 13th. No, I have not. I've
We
been
played
waiting.
a little bit
Yeah.
of it.
That's
you
the
can
first
play
one they
it.
did?
What'd you think?
No,
not
it's not
the
the
first
first.
one, but
Yeah.
it's
I'm not
maybe
Back to the
be
Future, but, like, I
Oh.
like it, but
7,
I
8
don't,
years
Wait, is
ago.
it Telltale?
into it.
It's
Yeah,
Telltale, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
think
probably
they
enjoy
did
it.
Sam
It
and
was
Max.
fun.
Was that
Yeah.
like the first
They
one
did-
they did?
Yeah.
They did Sam Max.
They
The
did a
first
bunch.
one they
They've been
did
around
was
for a long
called
time.
Bone.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was
Oh,
based.
sure.
It was based on
On
really.
Bone.
Yeah.
One of the trivias that we had in our trivia game.
Yeah.
one time ago.
But then I think they did Sam Max. Then they did. We were just talking about. I really.
The
just
name of the
blanked
game
on
is
it.
Snaps.
They did
Walking
Sam
Dead?
Max, and then they did Back to the Future, and then they did Monkey Island, and then they did Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I think that's the order.
They did a Monkey Island?
Yeah.
Tales from Monkey Island.
Is that
Oh.
the one
Did you
just
love it?
played?
Yeah, that's the one we played.
Okay.
It was all right.
But like Walking Dead,
It's rough, man.
sort
It's
of
not
was
the
a
best.
departure from them. It's less point and click.
Mm.
Where like Back to the Future is straight up adventure time, like point and click.
Adventure
Like,
game.
Adventure
not
game.
Adventure
Sorry,
time.
yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Um,
They'll do it.
But like like probably combining items and stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it was basically, it was all like,
It's
That
old
sounds
school.
fantastic to me.
Yeah,
since you like old school
Like,
adventure games,
it
like
takes-
Back to the Future is very much
It takes
old school
place
adventure.
6 months after Back to the Future 3. So it's
Wow.
kind of like a sequel, and
That's-
they do the voice
Was it
acting.
written by Bob Gale?
I
Wait,
don't.
Michael J. Fox
so.
is.
It's a
Okay.
sound-alike,
It's a sound-alike,
but it
and he
sounds
nails it.
He
Yeah.
sounds exact. They have a YouTube video of him doing the Marty stuff, and you're like, oh my god.
He
Wow.
became a voice actor just because he was always good at doing.
Marty McFly.
Well, Michael
Michael
J.
J.
Fox.
Michael
Yeah.
J. Fox.
Yeah, he
Wow.
would be great for the Frighteners game, you guys.
Yeah.
Which you're working on, right?
I want to play that.
That would
Yeah,
be
I'll
a
pick
good
it.
game.
You
it
should.
would be, actually.
Yeah.
You should.
I
What
want
kind
to
of game
play
would
it.
that be?
It would be like Ghostbusters meets like Alan Wake.
Yes!
There is anyone making the text style Sierra games like
I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there, but not that I know of.
Not big
not-
companies.
yeah, not wide releases.
You could probably find like a guy who might be
because
making.
I
a text
loved
Sierra
how
game.
ridiculously
If you guys
difficult
could see the
they
bored
were.
look in Caitlin's eyes right
No,
now.
I was just gonna, it
it's
made me
amazing.
laugh. I don't know too much about the text-based adventures, but I was just thinking of the Homestar Runner thing where they talk about how hard it is to like
Yeah.
figure out what's happening, and
Yeah.
they're like exits are north, south, and Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not Dennis right now.
I loved
Yeah.
those games
Are you talking
because
about
they
like
were
the
so.
full text parser where you have
Yeah,
to
you
type
have to
like
type in,
you
like,
have to type
yeah.
like talk to girl and look at boobs?
Get-
Yeah,
Slash.
like the King's Quest games and
Right.
the Space Quest games before they ported them over to.
Yeah,
point and click.
there's no like real company doing
Someone's
those.
got to bring that back. 'cause
There's
there
one-
was
I'm
a
sure- I'm
special
sure
kind of
there's-
entertainment.
Yeah.
There was
I don't know.
a-
Did you ever play like Maniac Mansion?
Yes, Day of
Um,
the Tentacle is like my favorite game of
So
all time.
Yeah.
Ron Gilbert's,
right now, I
Ron
think that you
Gilbert's-
and my husband should go on a date.
Ron Gilbert's doing a new game. It's called Thimblewheel Park, and
yeah.
he's doing it in the style of Maniac Mansion.
He's
so it's,
using that old technology too. It's not like he's using
Yeah.
the computer to just make
So
it look
you
that
have
way.
to you have to click on the verbs. You have to click on look at, and then you have to click on what you're looking at.
That's awesome. I want
That's
it.
coming out next year.
Yeah.
I want it.
But
Where's
he's
it go
the
to
only
there?
person of any note that I think is doing any old school stuff.
Man, because the King's Quest was so painfully difficult. Like King's Quest
Yeah.
3. Did you ever play these games, the text-based
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
Like King's Quest 3 was, it was not only was it impossible to figure out what you were supposed to do. Like you're in this castle and then you go down the mountain and you have to survive going down this mountain without falling off. and then you're going through the woods.
You
these
can't see where you're going.
confusing woods that you can just die in a screen. And if you don't do something like 15 screens earlier,
you can
you
set up your
didn't
deck,
grab
but
it.
you wouldn't know until it's too late.
You didn't grab a thing, you're gonna die. You'll never beat the game.
That
and then
happened
also
to
that
me
game.
when I played King's Quest. I forgot to look under a pillow for a key, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going back and doing this all over again.
I know.
God damn.
That's what's beautiful about it.
There's no way
And-
you would do that today.
Me?
Yeah, there's
Well, I
no
wouldn't
way
have
you would
time.
spend that time. That's
I wouldn't
what
have time
I'm
on
saying.
any game, but I would just like to know that it exists.
Yeah.
But this game
For the
even
kids.
goes even further than that. This game is like time based too. If you,
Yeah.
as soon as the game starts, you have a certain amount of time before like something happens, and then you die, and then it's over.
That
the
sounds
whole
like
game.
human life.
Yeah.
I feel like that would
It is.
start
That's why it's so
riots in the
good.
street
Yeah.
with today's gamers.
Now, yeah, it couldn't work today because there's too many whiny. Sorry, but there's too many whiny gamers who
No, I
would
feel
bitch
like-
and moan and complain and just be like, oh.
That's the
Guys,
thing, though.
once again, that was not a sound effect. That was Phil.
I think to me this is something that worries me about the future. Like we're all so worried about these bad comments and people hating on what we do. They were always hating on what people did. They just didn't have the place to write the comments.
Right.
Like if you crowd test a movie to death, then it becomes lame and watered down. Same thing is happening with everything. Like with video games. Now they have to respond to all these comments and try to make everyone happy. Why not do something like King's Quest 3?
Because because all those comments are too public, and that's what scares away potential. Like when people didn't have a voice, at least publicly, you could talk amongst your friends. You could be like, King's Quest 3 sucked, and whatever it was. But that they couldn't put that into sales numbers.
There wasn't
now,
media coverage
now
of it.
10 million people can tweet and say your game's broken, and I hope you all get cancer and die because that happens now.
Yeah.
And then they go like, well, shit, we need to fix our game because other people are seeing those tweets and they're not buying the game because of these
Also, when
people.
there's
go ahead.
I was just saying, now that there's like tens of millions of dollars involved in just in marketing,
Well, yeah.
if one person on a popular social media says they don't like it, it'll kill the game before it even comes out. And it's stupid, but that's just how it is. Like people don't. There's so much money involved.
Yeah.
There's no risk.
But sometimes, you need to ignore that for a while. Like sometimes I think to get something truly great things always have haters early on.
Yeah.
Like Seinfeld, first couple seasons. Granted, those weren't great seasons.
Yeah, the first season
but
wasn't great.
but sometimes you just gotta have a thick skin. Let the comments roll off.
Yeah.
Well,
when millions of dollars are involved, I understand.
I think that's the big difference, the dividing line between now there's like really the two fields. There's indie and then there's AAA.
Yeah, there's
And
no
so
middle ground.
Indie can play.
AAA can't do that anymore because those games they cost so much money to make that they can't take those risks that somebody might not like it. I mean, the biggest example to me is Mass Effect 3, where they changed the ending of the game because so many people were upset about it.
And not that many people overall.
It was
but
just
it was
the
like
vocal-
10,000 people
it was the
signed a
vocal
petition, so they
minority.
changed the
Yeah.
end, even though the game sold like 4 million copies.
So
That
like
they George Lucas did.
It also sounds to me like the AAA games, like the big games, from listening to this podcast. This is where I learned it.
Yeah.
Can't do anything fun or unique because they have to release it as DLC later to keep getting your money.
Well, that's the thing. And AAA is all about we're making money. That's the whole
It's
thing.
a business.
But
It's
indie
not
games,
creative,
when it's
like-
like a team of 10 people or whatever it is, they can. This makes it sound like I'm really favoring one side or the other. But they can make it where they're just like, hey, this is our vision. We're going to make this game. If a bunch of people bitch and moan, whatever, this was our passion project. We weren't out to be an EA. We weren't to be a multi-billion-dollar company. So if they make the game and they make $200, whatever, great. That goes into their pockets and they walk away. But like, you can't release Batman 7, and then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes into the game, replace Batman with Batgirl and dust your hands because you're going to have a riot on your hands and no one's going to want to play the game.
Bad example, because video game people hate girls, so that's
Well,
like a
yeah,
whole
that's-
nother
Or
riot.
is that a good example because of how much there'd be a riot?
You could, let's say you swap out Batman with Robin, and you'd still have a riot on your hands, but it
Well,
wouldn't be a
everyone
girl-related
hates
riot.
Robin.
I mean, it also makes sense, like video games, AAA video games,
Yeah.
which is the first time I've ever heard that term for AAA.
Yeah.
they have a team of how many people?
10 billion.
10 billion.
Usually, like average now is around 200
I think
just
it's
for
a
development.
It could be
It's really hard to have a singular vision anyway if you
Yeah.
have that big of
Yeah.
a team.
And
You really are all about responding to what people want.
And sometimes there's, bigger companies like EA or Ubisoft that have different offices work on different elements of the game. So there's people in different countries that you never actually interact with, creating an element of the same
We're
game.
working on the multiplayer, but you're going to develop the single player.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just like, well, that is going to really mesh well.
And in the nature of those kind of games, they take a long time to just make anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to.
Well, I mean, they now have to do all those extra frames to get up to 60 frames a
I
second.
know they have to
Yeah.
add in frames.
Yeah, all the extra cells, all the extra
Yeah.
hand painting they gotta
All
do.
hands are on.
Yeah, jeez.
Can't wait till Cuphead comes out. So excited.
When's
what?
that come out?
I have no idea, but I think it's hopefully
It's a game. It's basically looks like old school Disney cartoons.
it's 1930s animated. And like it's legit, like it looks exactly like this style. And all the characters are always like this and stuff.
Did people actually draw it?
Yeah. Well, I'm
No,
sure
they
they
didn't.
drew the backgrounds like old school Disney, and I
Yeah.
think they, obviously did. They took a lot from that, but obviously it's still a game, so it's still made on computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake. But basically, the whole game is a series of boss fights.
That looks awesome. Oh yeah. What's it called?
Cuphead.
This is an indie game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like.
If I was to put it into one of the
It is.
categories,
Yeah.
it'd be
It's,
indie.
it's
looks bonkers.
Right.
Ever seen.
That's the thing. Like, so. That's the thing about indie games. They're like allowed. I just watched the video of Cuphead, by the way, for the podcast listeners, and it looks awesome. But indie games are like they tend to bring the style a lot more. Like a mainstream game has got a expensive game.
It's
Has
got to
like
be
a standard.
gray.
It has to be a standard. Like there's a standard that's set
Yeah.
up for it. That it has to be. It has to be, obviously up to snuff with graphics and everything, but also just the feel of it, the style of it. It has to go with what people are going to buy.
It's gonna have a lot of rocks. It's gonna be gray. If it's not blue and orange, it's gonna have a totally like jacked dude, brown-haired,
Yeah.
square jaw.
Yeah.
It's gonna be white. Make sure.
He's gonna be
Yeah.
so white.
And then indie games are like they can do these. They can lean towards one style. Like they can go like that's old school Disney animation, which is awesome. Like what's the game? Limbo. You
Limbo.
played Limbo?
Yeah.
That's another one that I played recently.
Yeah, I remember when
recently.
we went to Logan Arcade right
Yeah.
after we recorded the podcast. I had mentioned that to you. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, and I hadn't played it yet.
Yeah.
But then I did play it. I don't remember if I beat it, but I made it pretty far into it. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
But that
The
game's
really
like.
depressing one you played.
That's the black and white.
Yeah. China was afraid of it. Like
There
There's
are some
scary
games
things,
that I'm
yeah.
like
Yeah.
legit. I can't be in the room. They're
Yeah.
terrifying.
And it's not like there's not like jump scares or anything. And there's a couple moments, but it's got a really creepy vibe to it.
Yeah.
And
but
it's like almost silent. That you just hear little music, little sound effects here and there.
Yeah.
You see like glimpses of other people that you can't really track down. And
Yeah, I mean, and a game like that is like relatively inexpensive to make compared to a giant game, and
Yeah.
so you can do one type of style, like one thing that's just, it's pretty short, and you just play it, and you're done, and you're like, wow, that was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with the big games, really.
no.
No, because that's the thing is, I mean, it all circles back to like what people expect. People expect to say like, if I'm going to pay $60 for your game, it's got to look this good. It's got to run at 60 frames a second. It's got to take me this long to beat. Like if you paid $60 for a game and you took it home that night and you beat it in 3 hours, you'd be like, whoa. $60 for 3 hours, it's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like if you buy an indie game and you spend $10 and it takes you 3 hours, you're just like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
And it's a
I'm fine
fun,
with that.
different experience that you're not getting with any of the AAA games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Though I think Hank Green made he's a YouTuber, vlog brother. He made a video about cost of entertainment. I can't remember what the whole subject of the video was, but he compared like the amount of time you're going to get out of something for your money, and
Yeah.
it seems like video games are way above most other things as far as the
Right.
amount of time you're going to get out
Sure.
of your money. You pay
'Cause you-
$60 and you can pay like 90 hours of a game.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're asking too much.
Well, that's the thing.
Exactly.
I mean, personally, I believe that a lot of the newer people are just spoiled because I think that's what it is. Like, you think of like Arkham Knight. I mean, you put
like
way
Destiny
more.
especially.
Yeah, Destiny. Chris has
Any,
put
like,
in
RPGs
130 hours, and he paid $60 to get the game. I'm spitballing low for
It's
your
super
sake,
low,
for your
yeah.
sanity.
Yeah.
But as you think about that, you're just like, I'm getting more than 2 hours for $1. Like, that's crazy because you go to the movies and you spend $15, and you get 2 hours and that's it, and then you're out.
You go to a nice dinner, you probably spend as much as a 90-hour video game,
Right.
like, or more. And so let's just stop bitching, okay, guys?
Well,
I
that's
like my
the
games.
episode.
I just stick to the
Walking
games
away.
that I like playing. I just ignore everything else. I'm like, that sucks. I'm gonna play just the ones that I like, and I feel like that's a good strategy for me.
Yeah, well, you're normal. You're a normal human being who doesn't feel entitled to.
Unnormal.
Yeah.
I'm one of those normies.
You
Have
don't
I ever
feel-
talked about Journey? I feel like you guys should talk about Journey. That game's pretty great.
Journey?
Yes.
What's Journey?
It's a game that made me cry like a big dumb baby.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, no, it's another one where it's like indie and it has a very like unique style and it's very short and it has no spoken words whatsoever.
It's a cool game because
But isn't it like gorgeously beautiful?
It's technically an indie game, but it's developed by Sony's in-house team, so they actually had money to put behind it. It's a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 game. They came out on PlayStation 4 and they up-resed it. But literally, it's like you can beat it in one sitting. It probably takes you about 3 hours, and you just play as this amorphous being. I mean, you can call it a human.
It's a humanoid-looking thing,
Yeah,
but it's
but
like
it's just
stylized.
Kind of like me.
Yeah.
and you just like you go. Your journey is like to climb this mountain. Like that's the whole quest. You go on, and it's just like you go through these levels, and it's just like everything looks gorgeous because it's very well animated.
Oh, I think I remember when this came out. I
Yeah,
didn't have the system it was on.
Yeah,
so
and the music is really great for it.
Yeah.
And it tells a story, but at the same time, it's not hitting you over the head with the story.
Is it like stylistically kind of like Shadow of the Colossus in a way?
Yeah. That's
which
kinda
is
how
a game
describe
I
it.
love.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, I've seen this. This
a great game.
looks awesome.
It looks amazing and like
Yeah.
for something that like doesn't say a word, there's a whole story in there and
Yeah.
I would almost say it's very minimalist.
yeah.
Yeah, like Shadow of the Colossus or Eco.
Yeah.
Can you see other people in it too?
You
in
can
Shadow of the Colossus, what you do, they did something really unique, which was kind of fun, is that you just mark if you want to be able to play online, but what happens is a random person will go into your game, you won't see their gamer tag, they won't see yours, they can't communicate with you by like sending you messages, all they can do is make a sound effect, and it's like each character has a different sound effects, and so they can like try and get your attention, but at the same time, like, if you're still two separate beings, so they can leave the level while you're still in it.
Whoa.
So it's one of those things where it's like, cooperatively, sure, they can help you, they can show you cool things, but if you're sitting and enjoying the scenery, they can move on and it doesn't impact their game.
that you have no idea who they are.
Yeah,
you can't
I saw it at
communicate
their house.
with them.
Like Liza and I went over one time, and we played it for like a second, and it was just awesome.
What's it on? It's on
PlayStation 3 or
4.
PlayStation 4.
See, that's why I haven't played it because I only have Xbox.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to because it did look like sort of like the same feeling of Shadow of the Colossus, where you're in this world running around with like almost nothing else around, just like
for
kind of
sure.
desolate, and which is just cool. I like feeling alone and depressed. You know?
I will say,
It's a good game for that.
Yeah.
Sony does like their in-house indie projects. I've really been a fan of. They do that, and we did. What was the one with paint? I'm trying to think of the name of it.
The Unfinished Swan.
Unfinished Swan was really good. Where it's literally just your game starts off and it's white as far as you can see. You can't see anything, and your weapon, if you will, is like splashing paint. But as you splash paint, like the world kind of shows up. So you splash black paint, and then you can see that this whole white screen, now there's a bench in front of you.
Ooh,
and then like you splash paint on this side, and
That's
you're just
cool.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like this is a path that I can go down. So you're constantly just like throwing paint everywhere to make a world around you to
That sounds
actually
like
play
a regular Saturday for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's also really cool because the narrator is one of the Monty Python guys. So if
Yeah.
you're into that, that's fun.
It
What
sounds
was the
like-
other one we
I'm
played?
into
Was
the
it
British
Petal?
accent.
Flower.
Flower. Was that them?
Yeah, that's the same. Flower did Journey. It's
Yeah.
called
Okay.
That Game Company.
Yeah.
Very
well, they
helpful.
are awesome.
Yeah.
And Flower is literally just like, if it's not the relaxing simulator of the world, like you play as a flower petal, just getting caught in a breeze, and your goal is to collect other flower petals, but there's no opposition, and the game looks incredibly gorgeous.
Beautiful.
How much?
We're gonna borrow their PS3 just to play Flower and Journey.
I want to play those games. I've been wanting to play Journey for a while. I just forgot what it was called.
We'll lend you.
Yeah, we can lend those out to either one
I
of
want
you.
to take your things.
we don't have
In
them in the
exchange.
car.
How much does Journey cost as a game?
It's probably $10.
$10 for 3 hours of entertainment? Rip off! Rip off!
Flip the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expect to pay $20 when I see a 90-minute movie.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, the
So
one
you
thing
got
I
some
did,
paper.
I got some paper, just because I didn't feel like writing the descriptions of. So we're gonna do a little back cover game. If you're not familiar, read the back covers of games and you try to guess what they are.
Okay, we get to guess before you guys guess, though.
I'm not guessing.
Did
'cause
you make up
obviously I
this
don't
game?
guess. Yeah.
This is a genius game.
Why?
Why isn't this podcast number one?
We usually.
Because they haven't done anything to advertise it.
It's not true. We tweeted once.
Yeah. We've tweeted before. I don't know what you're talking about.
But you guys could be linking to all the stuff you talk about.
So much work, though.
Oh, guess what?
It's so much easier to quit.
That's true.
So
That's what the route I'm taking.
when Phil and I we try to play things like trivia and other games like that, but it's kind of reliant on other people to give us stuff, because if it's the trivia, then we're kind of just asking questions. But this game,
Every time you yawn.
it was good while it lasted, but the problem is we kind of ran out of games, because either it's super obvious or it's super hard. But I decided to do older games for this one. I just went into my room, my vault of games, and randomly grabbed 5 games.
The old game vault.
There's 2 from Super Nintendo, 2 from regular Nintendo, and 1 from Sega.
Okay, are you going to be
Ultra
omitting names or
Nintendo.
stuff?
Wait.
Yes.
Sega Genesis?
So the way the game
Or
is always
Sega Dreamcast.
I'll
Or
tell you right now,
Sega CD?
it's Sega CD.
Is it really?
Yes.
Then I'm not going to know the games, probably.
Yeah, Phil cannot guess on that one. I'm just going to
the
say that
Sega
right now.
CD game.
Yeah, don't guess anything. You'll know what it is.
You can guess
I'm
titles,
gonna just
though.
straight up read that one. But this one, I'm gonna admit some stuff. I'm gonna just give
We
you.
omit giveaways. So like if you were reading the back of Halo, you wouldn't say like Master Chief or
Lands on Halo.
the Halo weapon or
I wouldn't have even got it with Master
But I
Chief.
mean like the stuff that
I
might
would
be.
have. But
might be
Halo
giveaways.
weapon would be kind of a giveaway.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
everyone is trying to find the Halo planet, you're just like,
Wait,
what
Super
is it?
Mario?
So John Blank fights dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Detective John Turok.
Wait, which Turok are you playing?
He's playing the 360 one, the newest one. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Disney Interactive made it, and they actually went out of business because of that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just my hand.
How much did it cost to make that game?
Too much.
Kajabillion.
Way
I
much.
actually know somebody that worked on it. That's why I knew that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the Nintendo 64 Turok was a good time.
Oh yeah, it was a
64 was
lot
a-
of fun.
You know what? I meant to
Fantastic
tell you guys
Turok.
this. This is very unfortunate that you're quitting the podcast because in auditioning people for this short film that fell apart,
Yeah.
I met a guy who did mocap for a bunch of the games
yeah?
based out of Chicago. He did he did Mortal Kombat. He did all the mocap stuff.
For Turok?
Not for Turok, probably.
Then he
Was
doesn't.
he the dinosaur?
First of all, then Phil doesn't care. Second of all, they did not do motion capture for that game. I'll tell you that right
there
now.
was a guy who did this. He was the Tyrannosaurus.
There's no way to animate that.
Why are you still playing this game?
I told you,
He's
it's
got to beat it.
sickness.
He's got to beat everything.
And sorry to derail it even further, but I realized we never got into what are you going to do? Are you going to continue this podcast?
Well, let's answer it at the end. Let's
Okay.
answer it at the end.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We won't remember. We'll have
so
so many beers. on
People
our
have to
belly.
listen to the end to know.
These
Okay.
older games, I
Okay.
will say, are basically just paragraphs, and it's usually right on the nose.
I'm very excited.
I'm not expecting you guys to get any of these. Because
Okay.
one, I did not pick the best games because I randomly just grabbed them. But it's more
That's
just
a good tactic.
and for this one especially, it's not the game. Like the description does not match my idea
You're
of what
setting
the game
it up
is.
Just
too much.
Okay, fine.
read
Yeah, just like
start
what I
the
said
game.
for your
Okay.
YouTube channel.
Yeah,
just
if I
jump
learned
right
anything
in.
from this episode, it's don't set anything up.
I will
Yeah.
tell you that it's a Super Nintendo game that was released in 1991.
Okay, good.
Final Fantasy.
Okay, there's
Oh.
a quote on the back that says, "It won't be easy. That's why they're sending you." Okay.
Paperboy.
Final Fantasy 1.
The let's see what I can read here. Okay, the fate of the free world hangs in the balance as the President of the Republic knows that you're the only guy that can save millions of evil. Well, from the evil. I'm
Save
cutting out a lot of
millions
words
from the
here.
evil.
Yeah.
Save an evil.
Sent on a series of perilous missions, you must infiltrate the hideous place that this takes place in and terminate its leader. Unfortunately, the bad guy commands a crack force of vicious and cunning soldiers you'll hunt down no matter where you are.
Contra? Super
Nope.
Contra?
Rogue leader.
I saw the page, so I can't guess.
Yeah.
Bad dudes.
Bad Dudes 4.
It's. I'll give you another hint if you're familiar with the podcast. When Phil played this game, he learned another language.
Avatar the game.
No,
Yes. Oh my God! How'd you get it? For Super
Ninja
Nintendo.
Gaiden.
no, it's Wolfenstein.
And Morgan. Gucci and Morgan.
Oh, sure. Sure.
But see that they kind of omitted the whole Nazi things because in Wolfenstein
you have to say Nazis, okay? You have to say Nazis.
It wasn't in there. I didn't cut it out.
All right.
And it
Did
was.
you cut out Hitler?
They're acting they're acting like they're sending you to this place to like liberate these people. When I thought the game
It
was
sounded
you start off
fantasy-ish to
in
me.
prison
Yeah.
and you're breaking out of the Nazi
But
controlled prison.
is this game different? This is for the Nintendo, right?
It's called Wolfenstein 3D, but it is the original for the most part game. It's a little bit different, but it's the
Did
same
you photocopy
idea.
these?
I didn't want to.
Yeah, that's not accurate for what happens in the game.
No, it's not.
Awesome.
Well, I almost wonder if there's a difference between the Nintendo version
I
and
think
what
there's
the
a
PC
slightly a
version.
difference, but
Because
it's-
I wonder if the Nintendo version is like, hey, they're not Nazis and this definitely isn't Hitler. You're fighting Bowser,
you
and
can't
it's
tell.
all.
You can't tell from that, but they're the same character models and everything.
No, I know. But
Man,
I'm saying,
imagine
like, the
Mario
back of the
going
box.
after
Yeah.
Hitler, saving
just-
the princess.
I know.
You're Mario.
I just
and you're going
remember
after Hitler.
playing Wolfenstein on the computer, like back when we had like the Apple II or whatever it was.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And just every little like pixel of blood was so thrilling to me.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein was intense.
It was.
And then Doom came out, and I'm like, they just ripped off Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Waste of money and time.
Mhm.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
All right, so this next game is NES game. Came out in 1990.
Okay.
It is
Kick of
based.
Cubicle 90?
It is based on another property. It is
Okay.
a licensed game.
Great.
Okay.
The main character is trapped inside a building. Your mission? ? Help him battle his way to the command center and rid the city forever of the menace. I cut out a word there. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to use your cunning and your wits to survive with only the weapons you find inside the building.
Die Hard.
I don't know of a Die
This
Hard
game
NES
has all the
game.
traps,
Dennis
mazes.
the Menace the game.
Right? This game has all
That
the
actually exists.
yeah, has all the traps, mazes, and lightning quick moves to push your skills to the limit. And it has the graphics that seem to come alive on the screen.
Ah, I bet it did.
Castlevania?
I'm
That's
still
not based
saying
on
Die
another
Hard.
property.
It sounds a lot like Die Hard,
The
doesn't
fact that
it?
you said the building like 10 times, I have to assume that.
But it's not Die Hard because
It's not.
he would have fessed up.
Is it Last Action Hero?
Ooh.
No, I think Last Action Hero came out way after 90.
Another property.
It is a sequel.
Gremlins 2.
Nice.
Gremlins 2? Is
Yeah,
that
it's Gremlins 2, the
You
new
play
batch.
as Gizmo.
I
You play as
never-
Gizmo.
Never would have got
I
that. I didn't even know that
100%
existed.
thought he made that up
And
to
I-
be a smartass.
Until reading it,
It is the building.
I didn't put the similarities, the parallels of he's basically John McClane.
Yeah.
He goes,
Gizmo
through the
is?
he goes through the air vents the whole time,
Yeah.
like picking up weapons and all this other stuff, like one by one taking
And
them
that
out
scene
as
where
he
he had
gets
to
to the
walk
top
on
of the
broken
building.
glass was just excruciating.
Yeah.
Also-
Wow.
Watching his little fuzzy feet turn blood red.
Yeah. Come out to the coast. We'll get together. We'll stay out after midnight. We'll have some
Eat some
laughs.
chicken.
I was gonna do one of all just movie games because I have a surprisingly amount of movie video games.
I'm not surprised by that, and I
Yeah.
love it. I would love to play
Movies
every
are
one of
good.
them.
Oh,
You
it
like
might be
movies and
because
video
you're a
games.
huge
I do.
movie nerd. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Ah.
All right, let's do this.
All right. So this is just some bullet points. This is an NES game that was released in 1996.
Okay.
What?
96.
Late bloomer.
Back in the old high
Super
school
Nintendo,
days.
when did that come out? Didn't that come out in like 94? Super Nintendo?
I think
95,
this
94?
sounds like this was a post Super Nintendo
Wow,
NES
okay.
game.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be not like
No,
I
this
care,
is a
but-
Super Nintendo game. Did I say NES?
Oh, you
It's
said
Super
yeah.
Nintendo. I'm sorry. I switched which. Okay, it's Super Nintendo.
Okay.
96. It is not the first in the franchise. I'll tell you that right now.
So it's not the what?
Not the first game in this franchise.
Okay.
Large size ACM graphics fill the screen with unparalleled style.
Ooh.
Brand new heroes and familiar favorites team up against unfriendly foes in this all new challenge and all new fun.
Mario Party.
Donkey Kong Country. Am I right?
Yeah, which one now?
Yeah. Donkey Kong Country 2?
3.
3. Okay.
Plays Dixie Kong and Kitty Kong. So you should have waited one sentence.
Damn it.
Kitty Kong.
Oh, okay.
Dixie and Kitty.
I wouldn't have known.
No. I'm going to need the full title, too.
Donkey Kong Country 3.
The Quest for Peace.
The year of the Kong.
No, National Lampoon presents. No, it's Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, we would've
Okay,
got
so
there.
it's definitely
And
titties.
the
right?
last description was battery-packed memory
Still fun to hear you say
saves your
titties.
progress through the adventure.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
Isn't
SNES
that
games.
every game?
Yeah, but if this game is advertising for it, that
It
means that
means
they had nothing else to advertise
Yeah.
for.
I mean, Zelda
There's a
on
long
the
like,
NES
paragraph,
you could
too.
save.
Yeah, it had a battery pack inside the
Yeah. One of the first Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You could save. So
Right.
that
Some
was
people
not a
just
selling
felt
point.
like advertising like very basic things, like a jump button.
Right.
Once you got to grab billions of bananas, that would have been my
That
first
would have been the
clue.
count, yeah. Okay, this one is a
I
original
basically
Nintendo
won
game.
that one though, right?
Yeah, you did.
won.
You
Okay.
did
That's a
get
point
that
for Craig.
Okay, good.
one. You didn't get the full title though, so I'm gonna have to dock you a half.
all right.
Okay, this one, I don't know if you saw this. This is also based. This is also a licensed property. This is from the original Nintendo. It came out in 1990.
1990.
I'm gonna read the whole thing except for the first word, which is the name of the game.
Okay.
Okay.
This game is awesome. It's totally the wildest game ever, packed with features like on-screen quote-unquote playfield designer that lets you customize your own game, zillions in quotes of possibilities, or also in quotes, select your personal favorite from the 100 or 512 underlined pre-programmed options. Play 1, 2, 3, or 4-player modes. Play against your friends or the computer. You choose. The 5 selectable levels of computer skill will make for ever-changing challenges. Reset the move timer,
Move timer.
right? And get your opportunities really jamming.
Jammin'. Toe Jammin' Earl?
No. 35 animated moves make for cool, mind-bending play action.
Oh, Clay Fighter.
What? No,
For
this is
normal
the
Nintendo?
This is
original
the original
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Toe Jam and Earl was on Genesis.
Do you know
Original
anything about Toe
Wait,
Jam and
stupid
Earl?
dumb.
What the hell is this game?
Initially, I was like Excite Bike because I was thinking like
So was I, yeah,
creating
yeah.
your own levels.
I was
Excite Bike.
that's the
makes
only
sense.
game I can think of on NES where you created your own levels.
But then like 5 difficulties and play 4 players.
Yeah.
That's killing me.
yeah, don't.
You're not going to get this.
We're
I'll
not?
tell you that right now.
Okay.
It was based on a character that was popular in the very early 90s.
Oh,
Okay.
it's the Noid.
Oh my god, you stole my joke!
Cool spot.
Close.
Is it cool spot?
Simpsons.
Cool spot in the gang
It's
or
Spot.
whatever the hell
It's
it
just
is?
Spot.
Spot.
I think
I remember
we had
this.
that.
I remember this.
Yeah,
I remember
it
that
was actually
too.
a decent game,
Yeah.
and you can moonwalk with him. And I'm like, yeah, let's
It
get
sounds
this
like
game.
a crazy game. Zillions of possibilities.
Well, in quotes. It's
they put it in quotes, guys, okay?
Because they're like, this
Somebody
isn't a
said
real
it.
number.
Because
So
I was about to
one
pull out
person
my
said it.
calculator.
right.
I have to say, I like his fat little ravioli hands.
Yeah. Well, he had sort of like.
Now I'm just
Did you
hungry
guys
for
play the
raviolis.
Chester Cheetah game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't
Does
think I
anyone
played
remember
it, but I
Bobsy
was
the
aware
Cat?
of it.
I was really into Bobsy the Cat.
Bubsy.
Yeah, Bubsy.
Bubsy.
I'm gonna
For
go to the
Genesis
bathroom
also.
again.
Okay, yeah.
Holy
Just do
cow.
one that I won't get.
Rating G, great entertainment for the whole family.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
C,
That-
breakdown. C, dive. C,
That's
moonwalk.
great that was, you don't even think about it like before the rating system.
Yeah.
So it's just like rated G for great for the whole family is kind of funny as opposed to like E for everyone, like
Yeah.
that generic.
They were
label.
making fun of ratings before they existed.
Yeah.
Well, they existed on movies.
Yeah,
they just wanted to let people know that the whole family could play that.
Yeah.
You could put Junior on that game, and he would totally turn into a Spot.
I could just go grab a bunch of other games from the other room if you want to keep doing this.
Are you
Seems
are
like it's a
you
lot
out of
fun.
pages?
I have one more to do, and I'll
Oh, we
just
gotta
wait
wait.
for
Yeah,
him
we
to
gotta
come
wait for
back.
Benzine.
Yeah.
So what are you playing?
I literally for the past week I have not played anything but Massive Chalice, which I beat today on
Nice.
lunch.
Nice.
So I could tell you what happens at year 300, Chris, if you really wanted me to spoil it for you.
Well, I know that you have to fight the darkness back, right, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's
mean,
a big battle.
The band, the
there's
darkness.
there's a big battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you win that battle and the ending happens.
Yeah.
It's actually I mean, I know the game didn't really have a story to begin with, but like the ending is kind of slightly disappointing. It's
there's,
good.
like,
It's
no
good
story?
and it's disappointing because it's just like it's good because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that fits the theme of the game, but at the same time you're just like,
You were hoping for something
I
big.
did all that for that.
Yeah. I think part of the game is like, it's like, okay, it's the mystery of like something's going to happen in 300 years, so you got to just manage these people. Like you're building towards a goal, and so it's fine that the game in general doesn't have a story because it's just like managing people and doing things. But yeah, you do kind of expect that if you do all this stuff and you keep all these people alive and you live and die with them, that at the end of it there's going to be something.
What game are we talking about?
We're just talking about Massive Chalice. This wasn't one of the back covers.
Oh.
All right, here's the last game for Sega CD. I'm going to read every
It
Echo the
wasn't
Dolphin.
that, it
Night
wasn't
Trap.
that I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't in the room when I asked what game we were talking
Yeah.
about.
So, Sega CD, 1992.
Ooh.
It's a
I
good
can
year.
think of...
That was a great year.
Yeah.
I'd whine from that year.
I
I
think
was
that's when
12.
I went
I was
to
old
Disney
enough to
World.
hunt.
You turned 12. Most of that year you were 11.
Shit.
All right. That'd be weird for the robot to know.
Robots
knows
know
everything,
everything.
dude.
That's true.
Robot Jinx.
Anyways, so this game is the first CD title with continuous full motion video and audio. Plays like a movie with hours of awesome gameplay.
The Last of Us.
Get 2 CDs packed with sinister scenes and live action video.
I remember
Sinister
this
scenes.
game, I think.
Okay, as a secret commando for SCAT. Billy can't guess this one.
It's like a cop game of some kind?
Sort of. Your mission is a time bomb. 5 beautiful co-eds are stocked in an eerie state. Hooded intruders are invading the mansion with blood on their minds.
I remember commercials for this game.
What was it called?
I don't remember what it's called.
Watch the murderous action from hidden cameras in 8 different rooms. Catch the intruders as they track their victims. Miss your chance and the co-eds are lost forever.
This sounds like a great game.
You gotta play it to believe it.
Panty Raid 2.
Very close.
I like that.
The pantiest.
The panties.
This game was banned, and they had to recall all the copies of it.
I remember.
Then later on they released a censored version, but nobody really bought it.
Well, no. Who wants the censored
I
version?
don't remember what it was called. Maybe I never really knew it was
Super boobs.
The boobies.
Boobs 2. Super boobs.
Phil, what was it?
Night Trap.
Yup.
Oh, yeah. Dang it. I was hoping it wouldn't sound familiar, but it did. Yeah.
Night Trap.
Night Trap.
I want to see that.
So this is a game that is like, it's all like puzzle based and everything. Like you have to like, the first thing the dad does before he like leaves the house of all the codes, he's like, okay, here's the security code and here's this thing, and the whole house is like booby trapped and stuff.
Nice.
So it's all like a puzzle based game where you have to either remember or figure out things to.
Like Home Alone with lingerie.
Because it's all just based on actual footage that they shot. So basically, it's like, oh, there's like a bad guy coming up the stairs, so you open up a trap door and he falls down, because that's the only way you can interact with it. Because you're not actually a player in the game.
They shot video for that.
They shot like 3 hours.
I
of
remember
video.
it being
I love
looking
games.
like, wow, there's actual real video in this video game. Oh my god.
I love games where they
Vanishing
just like
co-eds.
very poorly filmed
Bloodless
people.
bodies.
Yeah.
They're like not even actors. They're like they have no idea what's happening
That
right
was
now.
a trend for a while.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's really weird.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
there was that shooter game that was an arcade game that was all just like paper cutouts of real people,
yeah.
like popping up, and they were robbing a bank, and you.
Nice.
What was it called? Lethal Enforcer or something like that. And then you
Yeah.
could get it for Sega as well with the gun.
Yeah, for a while it was like, there was like a trend of like inserting actual real video into video games.
They thought that was the way to make it realistic. Like
Yeah.
that was the next generation. Like
And
that's
then-
what they keep saying. It's like, oh, this is changing the future.
And
just
then
made
like
it look
Mortal
like local
Kombat, Mortal
commercials.
Kombat was like real people with motion capture.
And it was amazing. I think that was the best
Yeah.
game to use actual people.
Yeah, and then but looking back at now, it seems just really dumb. It just seems like it's better to just do realistic computerized looking things than. Or at this point, we're getting close to it just looking real.
Oh well, now yeah, that's
Thanks to
that's
60
definitely
frames
true.
per second. I keep bringing it in. That's it, all
That's
the
the thing.
time.
That's the name of the
Cycle.
episode.
Yeah. Well, what is going to be the TV name of your last episode?
I was gonna say series finale, but it could be anything.
Well,
Welcome
yeah.
back, Cotter.
It
No,
was
I already used
origin.
that.
It was
It's when
origin
you came back
stories.
that episode you missed, and then you came back. That was the
Oh,
that
okay.
episode.
Yeah.
Lost.
So one other
Arrested
game.
Development.
Yeah, right. Development Arrested.
Murphy Brown. We never used
I
Murphy
saved it.
Brown.
You're right. I completely saved it. We saved it this whole time. And
What?
He never wanted to use Murphy Brown because we were going to save it for like the 100th episode or something special.
Yeah.
So I guess this is Murphy Brown.
This is the Murphy Brown.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry.
No. Has there ever been a Murphy Brown video game?
There should be. Yeah. Start a
If
Kickstarter
not,
for that, guys.
I'll make one.
Yeah.
You can just
Can she have it all?
the RPG that you're making now. Just impose the names and characters from Murphy Brown.
I could. I'd have to actually start watching Murphy Brown and.
Yeah, do you know anything about it?
And make Kramer.
I know that Murphy Brown's in it.
Yeah.
Now that you know how to make a game, we should really do like a Stars Hollow, Gilmore Girls kind of like choose your own adventure.
I just
game.
threw up in my mouth.
I don't know how to make like any game. You couldn't be like, hey, go make a first-person shooter. I only really know how to use the tool set that I was given to make like an RPG.
But you could
That's
find
what I'm
someone
saying, it
who
would be
knows
an
the
RPG.
things you don't.
Yeah.
An
Like a
RPG
true
Gilmore
entrepreneur.
Girls?
Yes, an
Sure.
RPG Gilmore Girls game, and I'm telling you, that is an evergreen thing. People always want Gilmore Girls stuff.
You have to write it.
Yeah, 100%
They
of
will.
people that live in his apartment want to see it all the
They
time.
will forever just
Yeah.
want Gilmore Girls.
Evergreen, Craig.
It's just going to be relevant forever.
Ever.
It's
Forever.
like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's never like
Do you
a
remember the
bad
hubbub
idea.
Yeah.
when they put that on Netflix streaming? People wanted it.
If
That's
you
true.
write the choices,
Yes, sir.
I can put it in a game.
You'll program if you're the writer.
You absolutely would not. I would do that in a heartbeat.
if there was...
If he doesn't have to do the writing, he'll do it.
Oh, I will do that.
Okay. I'll see what I can
I'll do the coding.
You know what? I'm going to write you the first chapter and see how long it takes you.
He wants a
I'm
sample.
going to quit everything
a
else
work
I'm
sample.
doing for this project.
Is it
America
okay?
needs this.
Okay, how about we'll
Who
have
would the
two
enemies
teams?
be?
We'll work on a Murphy Brown game. You guys do Gilmore Girls, and we'll have a crossover halfway through the game.
I'm so glad you said that because I wasn't so into the Gilmore Girls. But let's do Murphy Brown.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys, but Murphy Brown just doesn't have the audience that the Gilmore Girls does.
You don't know that.
Power.
It's
Why
not
don't
on
you tell
Netflix.
that to the 90s?
Yeah. You should, the 90s called, Jake.
And they want Murphy Brown.
Okay, so another game that I thought of for a while that we could have done during our games game episode,
Okay.
but it would have required another person to do, so I didn't do it. So last night I looked up a couple of things because, as we've mentioned many times on this podcast before, but two voice actors appear to be in every game. Those two voice actors are,
Nolan North
and
Troy Baker.
that is correct. So I just went into their IMDb page and clicked on one of the video games they were on and see if the other person was in it. So this game is basically I'm gonna name a game. This is just a fun, just random thing.
Sure.
And you say whether or not you think Troy Baker,
Or Nolan North.
Nolan
what's in it?
North, both or neither are in this game.
Okay.
So anybody can guess. We can even go like around in a
I
circle
will
if
have
you want.
no idea. I don't even know their voices.
Well,
so.
for the listeners at home, Troy Baker sounds like this,
I'm Troy Baker.
and Nolan North sounds like this.
I'm Nolan North.
All right.
And for the
So-
listeners at the podcast, that was blank.
Yeah. So basically, we're not going to be able to tell anyways because they're
Thank you,
voice
robot
actors.
intern.
They could do everything. You know, they can sound like a bunch of different things.
Sometimes you
I
can
will
like
say-
pick up on little bits.
I will
and
say,
pieces.
just so you know, so Troy Baker is the main character, Booker DeWitt, in BioShock Infinite. So Jake, I know you played that. I know a
did,
lot of people
briefly.
have played
Yeah.
that. And Nolan North is Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series.
Have not played it.
haven't
but
played either one.
Right,
So.
but they're also basically in probably any game you can think of. Actually, Troy Baker kind of got to start doing English dubs for animes.
Okay.
So if you're big into animes, you probably have heard his voice
Sure.
there as well. So I'll just
This
start
game is
off.
going to go very
I'm just
poorly.
well, this is basically just a lightning round.
I
I'm
think
just
this
gonna
is
say a
more.
thing.
I think this is more of like a 3-word pitch crowd, actually.
No, we're gonna come to that next.
All right, but just so you know, we have been rolling for like 2 hours.
Thank you. I have time in front of me.
Well, this is the final one, so we gotta
Yeah,
make it
also
special.
I'm gonna edit.
I know you're never gonna let us end because you don't want Phil to leave.
Yeah.
Don't leave me.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with a couple games that might be relevant to the podcast.
Troy Baker. Oh, she
Yeah.
started.
I will say Final Fantasy 13. Phil's been playing through the Final Fantasies. Haven't gotten to 13 yet, but
My guess would be Nolan North.
I'm gonna say neither.
Oh, neither would actually probably be a smarter guess.
well, I guess we can all guess. But
I think it should just be Phil. Let's let Phil guess.
no, it's just a.
I'm on board with that actually.
Okay, for that.
Yeah.
Unless Caitlin wants to weigh in.
I'm a big voice actor nerd.
I know you
I
are.
have no idea who these two people are
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's too bad.
because I don't really listen. Like, Phil keeps playing old games, so I don't know the new ones that they're in.
Bonus points for if you ever name any of the characters that they play. The answer is both. Troy Baker played Snowvilliers, Is that a thing?
You know Snow.
I know Snow.
And the Cocoon Inhabitants was played by Nolan North.
Of course.
I-
Some
right?
random
I
civilians.
am concerned that you keep holding the notebook between your mouth and the mic.
Okay. Okay, next game. Saints Row. We played a bunch of Saints Row. I'm just going to say Saints Row 4 because that's the one I clicked on.
Both.
Neither.
Nolan North.
Troy.
Okay, we're just picking everything then. So, the answer is both.
Yeah.
They both play
I'm
different
Henry!
versions of the main character, whichever one you select, and they do that for most of the Saints Row games.
Okay.
We played Ghostbusters together. We co-opted
Wait, which
all the
one of
things.
them said the boat explosion one?
No, not one of them. I don't think so. It just says male voice 1, male voice 2, so who knows?
Darn it.
Have you
What are
survived the
their
boat
names
explosions?
again?
Nolan North and Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
Okay. I hate Troy Baker.
Oh, wow.
I hate him.
Harsh stance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went to high school
So
together.
Ghostbusters. We played the Ghostbusters game, the 2009 Xbox and PlayStation.
Troy Baker played Venkman.
Both.
Neither.
All of the original voice actors did their parts.
Shit!
And it was written by Reitman and Murray.
Really?
Really? Not
game?
Murray.
No, I'm sorry,
Ramis.
Ackroyd.
Okay.
Yeah,
The game was?
the game was.
Yeah, Murray would be a really a big surprise.
But he did do the voice.
That's cool.
It's basically the unofficial Ghostbusters 3.
When was that? When was that?
2009, I
Huh.
believe it came out.
Wow. And Bill Murray did the voice?
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
I want to play that game now.
it's pretty good.
You got an Xbox, so we can give it to you.
The answer is Troy
All right.
Baker played Slimer.
Alright.
Not gonna get that one. Okay, I just played Batman Arkham Knight.
Both.
Yeah, both.
The
Yeah,
answer is
for sure.
both. They both played a whole bunch of people, including Troy Baker played like Two-Face and a bunch of spoilers, and Nolan North played the Penguin.
I'm decided to say both every time, because
Yeah.
then at least I'm half right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This should
Unless
be.
it's a neither.
This is an easy one. The Last of Us.
Baker.
Both.
No, it's North. It's North. I'm gonna go North.
North played Troy Barnes.
The answer is both.
Yeah.
Troy Baker plays the main character Joel,
Oh,
most famously for
Wait,
that. But
can we talk about The Last of Us for a second? I've
Yeah.
never played it. I've heard it's great.
yes, it is.
I watched
it is
a React
basically
video of the
an interactive movie for the most
chapter.
part.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And it's like The Road, but
Yes.
actiony.
Yes.
Is it good?
And there's
very-
kind of, zombies in it, but not really.
Kind of zombies.
Kind of
Yeah.
zombies.
Well,
We don't call them zombies,
the
but they're
opening
zombies.
chapter was outstandingly emotional.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Is that all you've played?
I didn't play it at all. I watched a React video of people playing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
All right. It's on the Xbox?
No, it's on PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Well,
PlayStation
I'm out of here.
exclusive, yeah.
I'm out of here.
We said we'd lend you one.
We can
God,
play
don't be
that
so
right
dramatic.
now.
I could
as soon
probably
as
buy
this is
one,
over.
but then I'll never. I don't buy it because I know I will only play a little bit, and then I just
Play like 2 games and then you'll
Yeah.
toss it aside.
yeah.
Okay, it might be a trick question, but Lego Batman 2. Because I know you guys played through the Lego Batman games.
Look for Caitlin for her answer.
I think he's Batman. Troy, I want to say.
I think Baker.
Both.
The answer is both.
Yeah.
They're all both.
They did not play the same characters, though, that they do in other things like the animated series or Arkham Knight.
They switched it up.
Yeah. Some of them. Troy Baker played a couple of the same. But Nolan North played Hush and Scarecrow in that. All right.
So I got one
Lego
wrong.
Batman 2, they
and
have
that was one where
one
they weren't both.
line.
Yeah.
One line. So they brought in Nolan
Professional
North
voice
for
actors.
a
Well,
guy
they
to
did-
go
they did,
like,
like,
I'm Scarecrow,
Well,
and
they
then that's it. That's
He
his
did
whole
like
fucking
6
line.
voices. So basically, they hired like 3 people to do like every voice in that game.
That game sucked.
Dude, it was not
Lego
good.
Batman 1 was worse, but Lego Batman 2 sucked too.
Can I just throw out a statement here? I don't really like any of the Lego games.
Really?
No.
Did you play Indiana Jones?
Did you play Indiana Jones or Marvel?
Indiana Jones is
Oh,
No.
Marvel's a good
the
time.
tits pajamas.
Really?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is the stuff.
Do tits need pajamas?
Mine do. They get
Well,
very cold.
It depends on who you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it really? Because to me, they're just kind of like just a bunch of tasks I don't feel like doing.
I'll be
they're
honest,
all like
you
that.
will not like them.
Okay.
Because that's like, even Indiana Jones and Marvel, which are really great ones, they all boil down to the same thing. They're all
Yeah.
just, Marvel is just a bunch of tasks in the Marvel universe, and
Mm.
Indiana Jones is a bunch of tasks in the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah. I mean, I have enough tasks in my life.
Right. That's what.
You know?
Yeah. You talked about that the first time you were on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go through these a little bit faster now. I've been playing Tales from the Borderlands.
Both.
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 That seems to be the right answer.
The answer's
that Greg's
both.
picking.
Troy Baker plays Reese and Tommy, and some additional voices. Nolan North plays August.
I've never played the game, so
Middle Earth,
you might
Shadow
like
of
it,
Mordor.
actually,
I hate it.
Shadow of Mordor. That's obviously both.
It's Baker.
Nolan North.
That's with both.
Oh!
It's never
Troy Baker played
not
the main
both.
character, and Nolan North played other people.
Batman.
Bad guys.
Lower your notebook.
Another one. We'll just say it hasn't come out yet, but Uncharted 4.
Both.
Wait, I've heard of this. Both.
Both. That's
Yeah.
just both.
This game, if all the answers are both,
No.
so
Portal
far,
2. Portal 2.
10
Everything I clicked on, they're both in. They're both in every game. That's the point of this game, is to know that they're both in
That's
every
what
game.
I thought. You were making a point.
Yeah, Portal 2.
Both.
Neither.
Just
Wait,
Nolan,
there isn't very many voices in
That's
this.
no, just Nolan North, and he played the Space Corps, the Facts Corps, Adventure Corps, and he played my favorite character in the game, the Defective Turrets, that are somewhat conscious and therefore being destroyed, and they're on this conveyor belt going into this fire, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
don't kill me, and why are you doing this?
Portal.
Let's see, Halo 3.
Both.
Both.
No, Nolan North played Marine. Halo
Oh.
4.
Both.
Both.
Troy Baker. Additional voices.
Halo 5. Both.
Mortal Kombat X, we played that a couple
Both.
times. Jake's played it too.
Man,
Both.
these guys must be very rich.
They all played Jason.
I don't think they're very rich.
Yeah, they gotta be.
I think they're doing fine.
I think they're well off. They might not be Clooney rich.
They're probably not.
Clooney rich.
I
They're
think
probably
that's
not billionaires.
They're
but
probably doing very well
Rosemary
considering they put in
Clear,
like half
yeah.
days of work.
Yeah.
But Nolan North replaced Peter Dinklage in Destiny.
Oh.
So Destiny, the big AAA shooter that came out last year,
Never heard of it.
right? But Dinklage sort of phoned in his performance. They re-edited they re-recorded a
so
bunch
he
of his
didn't like
lines
his
right at the end.
performance?
No, it's just the audience didn't. Everybody said how bad it was.
Yeah.
So you got to redo it.
They
We've heard how
replaced
AAA
it with
works.
Nolan North,
Yeah.
one of the guys we're talking about. So he went back and re-recorded all the lines in the game.
Wow.
Plus the DLC that's coming out, he recorded all those
Took him
lines
15
too.
minutes because there's no story in that game.
You know, there's a
But
about Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Burn!
There's a
Yeah.
podcast about Game of Thrones. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Chicago. Peter Sagal is one of the people in the podcast. They just recap the show.
Yeah.
Peter Sagal brought up, which now I fail to ignore, is how terrible Peter Dinklage's English accent is.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, so
like
bad.
I never even thought about it. Like
He doesn't
I just,
really do an
from,
English
from
accent.
the
That's
beginning,
why.
it just is so. He's great in the show, but
Yeah.
that accent is terrible.
I'm sure they
I just
hate
didn't
it,
think
too.
about it because I was just watching the performance.
Yeah.
But then now that I think about it, like, oh my, it bothers me. It's like,
Yeah.
damn
Can't
it.
stop
Like,
thinking about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Welcome to Dinklecast.
Dinklecast. So apparently, he's not the best
This
choice
isn't
for
British
voice actor
anymore.
for a video game.
Well, he did the Game of Thrones Telltale, and that was okay because he's just
Well,
playing.
he's playing his character.
He's playing his character.
That'd be like
Yeah.
the This Isn't Fun Anymore Telltale game, and they got us to voice it. Like,
But-
yeah,
right.
I hope so.
But the
I'm
real
looking forward
problem,
to that one.
the real problem with
the
Destiny
choices
was
aren't very impactful.
they recorded his lines
chooses
over a
to
couple
leave,
of
I
years,
know that
right?
much.
This is the
And,
first and last episode.
And a year before the game came out, they the head writer quit, so they threw out the script. And 3 months before the game came out, they re-recorded a bunch of lines that some basically intern wrote. And so he was, as Jake said, he was Blade Runner-ing it, where he was purposely like throwing it because he didn't want to do it, and it went really badly the voice over session. So he basically put no emotions into any of his lines.
Because he recorded it first, but then he had to re-record it.
He had to re-record different lines right before the game came out, and the lines were bad and uninspired, and he was upset that he had to redo it, and he didn't think they were good, so he kind of...
Oh,
I think you're giving him way too much credit that he
that might be
knowingly
true,
threw
though.
it.
Well,
might
like
be
I said,
true.
if you go back and look at all the other videos of him doing it, 2 years before the game came out, there's much more emotion and much, the lines are better. and
I
he's
could see
delivering them
in
better.
that position being annoyed, especially if the lines are dumb. You know?
Maybe it was right after you
Look,
got the
Dinklage
Pixel
is a
script.
Oh, look.
And he was,
He just came
is
off
a
of
good
Pixels.
actor, okay?
Yeah.
Dinklage is a good actor.
he read the Pixel script and he's just like, I fucking hate everything.
He
I'm
does not want to
throwing
be,
my job.
But he still did the Pixels movie, though.
Well, yeah, that's a moneymaker.
Yeah, when money calls.
Anyways, there's a shit ton of games. They're in every game that you can think of. If you named a game, they're probably in it, and they're probably both in it.
Mega Man. Nope.
Nope.
Neither.
Zelda?
Well
They're both in
played.
Zelda.
You
They're both in
showed
Zelda.
them.
I showed him.
Yeah. They played the Shopkeep.
Yeah. the beeps as the text goes by.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so we're going to play 3-word pitch now.
All right.
We'll just wrap it up on 3-word pitch. So if you're not familiar, we use a random word generator and do 3 random words, and we try to create a video game based on that.
The best video game so far was Number Crunching Number Puncher.
I like it. I already want to play it. You don't have to tell me anymore.
Yeah.
If a video was titled that, I would click it.
Is that anything
But
like
if it had an
Math
intro,
Rabbit
I'd
or?
watch.
You don't listen to these, do you?
Not all of them.
I
Mostly
gotta
just
tell
at
you,
5 minutes.
since this is the I understand that. Since this is the final,
The final regular
the final
episode.
Phil episode, or the final regular, yes,
Yeah.
the final weekly episode.
Yeah.
Because I assume that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I have listened to every single episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
I've listened to like 3 or 4.
It's the beginning.
I haven't listened to every
It's usually in the beginning of my week,
Yeah.
and since I don't get to see you guys very much, I felt like I've been hanging out with you every week all year.
Oh, you feel like you know us.
Yeah. So guess what? Fuck you two. That's it. We're done.
I've listened to about 3 or 4, and I've enjoyed it, and I wish I would have listened to all of them, but I haven't.
Here's your $20. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can
No.
you say that on our YouTube page?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we gonna play this game and then talk about what you're doing?
Yes.
Or are we gonna? Okay.
Yes, we're going to play this game first.
Okay.
So the first word is ice.
Okay.
Kiko cubicle too.
Yeah.
Second
Okay,
word
right,
is
that's-
bearing.
Bearing?
Barring.
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 If I could read, I would have said barring.
Sure.
Barring.
Double R.
Yeah.
Barrow.
If the third
And-
word is Sabaro, I've got a game.
The third word is theatre.
Theater.
Theater.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
Theater. Barring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caleb, what does that conjure up for you?
1, 2, 3, pitch.
So it's a
We
okay.
each have to pitch.
No,
we
we're
all
just
come
it's a
together.
collective
We come
brainstorming
I like that.
session.
You just
Okay.
start spitballing. You're just like, hey. So the game I'm thinking of is you are a guy who works at an ice delivery service, and
Right,
that's
well,
how you start.
how about
with
like
somebody else's
we're
name.
gonna buy this theater barring any sort of ice disasters?
But is this these 3 words in the title of the game?
No.
it's just
you
anywhere
have
you
to
can use
incorporate them.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'm saying is an actor shows up for some sort of Ice Capades edition,
Okay.
but
Oh,
actually
nice.
there's hockey players and they're just like punting him around.
Yes, hockey players punt. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Did you not hear the sports
Yeah.
talk we did earlier? I don't
Okay.
care. I'm just saying they're using
But
their
there's-
sticks to like bar him from going. They're using their sticks to bar him from going certain places, and you play the actor getting pushed around, and you have to achieve
a puzzle
your
game.
goals.
Ice
Yeah.
barring theater.
It's a text-based
You
adventure.
always try to do public
But you're
games.
in your
I do like an ice capade based
yeah.
video
He's
game.
in an
Right.
Ice Capade costume for sure.
Yeah. That covers ice and theater for sure.
Okay.
Barring, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I do love puzzle games
That's,
and
Yeah.
Shakespeare
no, I say
games.
they always try to make public
Yeah.
games.
They're the easiest
Well,
ones
no,
to
we're
make.
gonna. Okay, so obviously, if you're an ice skater, each leg is controlled by a different joystick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That sounds
It's
good.
Octodad.
It's
Yeah.
it's Octodad. You gotta do the crazy controls.
You guys do a lot of those,
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Callback.
What about like an ice capade where it's like the uneven bars are on the ice?
Wow.
Ice gymnasts.
So it's
Yeah.
sort of like a combination summer and winter Olympics.
Okay, I'm gonna take
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then also you're training to go you're going into the theater of war. So you're
Oh,
training,
nice.
you're an ice capades artist
Yeah.
who is going through basic training
Yeah.
to get toward the theater of war.
So
Now, if
okay.
you don't train properly,
Okay.
you're gonna be
Barred.
So this takes place
Yeah.
in the far future, where the only profession is ice skating.
Yeah.
There's 2 professions: ice skater and soldier. All the soldiers have died off.
yeah, because of the war.
Because of the
theater
war,
of
right. So
Right,
now you're a part of this elite crew of ice skaters that are fighting. Because obviously the bad guys in this are Russia,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Well,
it's
yeah.
Cold War
Call it-
II.
You can't have ice
Cold
without Russia.
War.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Cold
Cold War.
Right,
Awesome.
but there's ice everywhere in Russia. The
Yeah,
streets
yeah.
are made of ice rinks.
Yeah.
So that's why this elite
They've been
crew.
practicing forever.
Yeah. So is this a side scroller or is it?
No, it's like a rape simulator.
What
I
if
don't
it's
know. See,
like
that's where I
Phoenix?
lose this me a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it's like the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and what you're also trying to do is pass the bar?
Oh.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We are complicating
Ice
this.
skating
No.
war game.
No, you're an ice skater, and it's limbo, right? There's a bar, and it keeps lowering, and you got to find different moves to go
Sure.
under it.
I feel like we need to get back to ice capades, guys.
Okay.
I just,
Won't somebody think of the Ice Capades?
I mean, ice theater. Come on. Like, I remember remember seeing a Barbie game in the store where
I'm
it was
listening.
like, where it's like Barbie dogs or something, where it's like sort of like it's like
Because all women are dogs.
it's like Barbie
No,
puppies
all
or something.
women
I don't remember
love
what it was.
puppies.
It was like a dog show, but it was
Barbie
the Barbie
puppies.
universe. It was
Sure.
some sort of game.
Puppy parade.
But what if it was sort of like that, where it was like modeling, or like you have to perform ice capades in a certain way.
You have to put together your costume and your
Right.
makeup
Okay,
and your
no.
routine.
Your
Yeah, no,
floor
I'm feeling
exercise.
that. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, and I don't know about the barring though. Like
Yeah, one word always just throws a jam in the works.
yeah, like that's why I have the uneven bars. That's
Having
just like
your
the final
opponent-
round.
You are barred entry until
No,
you
no,
get the
you're-
correct.
Part of the game is figuring out how to sabotage your opponents so they're barred from entering the contest.
Her special
yes.
skill.
Yes, because I like part of the game is the front facing, the audience facing, where you're trying
Right.
to, but then there's backstage elements,
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
trying to
Sabotage?
like what's that, Nancy Kerrigan style,
Yeah.
like,
Right, yeah.
bar, literal bar, like barring.
But I
Yeah.
feel like it plays like a Hitman game too, where you're trying to set up accidents for people to get
Yeah.
into.
Oh, I'm into this.
this
You
sounds awesome
good.
because
Yeah.
it's like
really
it's
good.
2 games in one. It's
Yeah.
like you have to model correctly or do your dance correctly,
Choose your thing.
but
and
then you
do
got to
the
fight
performance.
backstage.
Right.
I like this.
Yeah.
I
And
like
maybe
this.
her special talent could also be bartending, so she's barring.
Graphically,
Okay.
I'm picturing Clay Fighter.
Yeah.
We went from not knowing how to use bar to using it 3 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta find it, guys.
Okay,
Anybody
what's
got
the title, though?
Anybody
What's
got
the
a title?
Ice capade or
Polka Don't. It's like Poconos. Because it takes place in the Poconos.
Okay. I was gonna say.
I thought it was
I'm
a
glad
totally
you finished your
different
sentence because it wasn't too apparent what you were talking about.
capade ammonium. I don't know.
Next 3 words.
Yeah. Next to it. Okay. Drift.
Okay.
It's a racing game.
Yep.
That's my band.
Yeah. You can
Drift,
say
head,
departure.
departure.
Drift.
Already,
head,
this is sounding
departure.
sad. This is
Yeah.
one of those
So a
sad
guillotine.
games.
Sound,
Guillotine.
I'm thinking it's
Inappropriate.
8 heads in a duffel bag. The
Nope.
movie The Game, starring
Oh.
Joe Pesci. But you take it's once again you already have a bunch of severed heads.
Yeah.
Your goal
You already sold me. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Your goal is to take a flight, but you have to get it past
Security.
security. So you have a bag
Nobody suspects a thing.
full of heads that are you got to get to your departure flight.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how
Okay.
drift
How
works.
about this? It takes place pre 9/11.
Okay.
So the security screening is not as intense as it is now.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Will today's audience even understand pre 9/11
I don't know.
security?
It's true.
Will
They
today's
will.
Is it
audience
60
understand
frames a
Joe
second?
Pesci? I mean, I think will today's audience even know Joe Pesci?
I just love the idea of 8 heads in a duffel bag being a video game. I just think that's a great idea. I'm in. I'm already in.
Done. Sold.
Yeah.
You
So
guys
it's-
have an investor.
And then the soundtrack will be Driftless Pony Club.
I feel
I'm
like
not familiar
nice.
with their work. Are they pretty bad though? That's what
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, but that makes it funny.
Anytime I try to upload to YouTube, they get copyright claims to this videos.
Do they? For
Yeah,
real?
no. If you had an 8-bit song, I could throw it on this episode. But
In 8
do you want to cover a song real quick?
right now?
Yeah, here's a microphone. No, I think that it's 8 heads in a duffel bag. Now, I don't remember too much about this movie,
It's Joe Pesci with the
but
bag full of
because
8 heads in a
because
duffel bag.
licensed video games rarely have anything to do with the actual movie, I will say that you're there at the airport with the 8 heads in your duffel bag, and then it keeps flashing back to each of those 8 heads, how they got killed and how they get in the
And
bag.
one of them is in a racing, gets beheaded. 'cause
Yeah,
he
one of
drifts
them's
too far and
one
he
of
gets,
them's the head of a Tokyo drifting. You know,
See, I'm thinking you get on an airplane with the 8 heads,
Sure.
and then the airplane crashes in the desert, and then you have to deal with the drifts, the sand drifts in the desert.
Okay. That's Endgame.
so it
That's like
turns
while
into
the
like
credits are
turns
rolling.
into like Journey, where you're just wandering through the
Exactly.
desert
With Joe
these
in your
8
Joe
heads.
Pesci.
But
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like if you land in the desert, you've pretty much endgamed where you're going to put your 8 heads. You know?
Like just
Yeah.
You
just
have
put
to
them on
look
other
at
people's
that.
bodies.
Take care
Like,
of.
No, because as you were crashing, you went through a weird portal, and the heads are alive now. And they're
Okay.
telling you
Wait.
where you have to go
from,
to.
But each of the 8 heads wants to go somewhere
Actually,
else.
no. The heads fell out of the plane first and got scattered.
Oh,
Yeah,
you gotta
have to
collect
find
heads.
them. Yes.
They're the collectibles in the game, but also other characters because you're out in the desert wandering and you're kind of going
Only 8
crazy and they're all
collectibles.
talking to you. Like they
Yeah.
become characters in your journey as you go along.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn, this is good. Jesus. We need to make video games.
Write this down.
Yeah.
Somebody write down.
This is nothing compared to number crunching, number punching.
No.
Guys,
Oh,
I can
alright.
tell you right now, we could probably get the rights to 8 heads in a duffel bag.
There's a cost of $20.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good game.
This is Joe Pesci.
Both
Yeah.
of these sound like great games.
But why are you collecting the heads? You just want to get rid
No,
of them.
no. You're not trying to dispose of the heads. You're trying to prove that you killed these people to get the money for the contracts.
Oh, I never saw 8 heads in duffel
Yeah.
bag.
So
you
it's
have to
important.
collect the
That's
heads.
that's your
To get the
livelihood
money.
right there. You
Yeah.
can get millions of dollars if you collect all the heads.
And for some reason the heads came to life as well.
Yeah,
Because
the
you're
portal.
delusional.
The magic
Yeah.
The
portal.
portal.
Yeah,
Right.
or are you? That's the mystery.
You might be dead.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
could be limbo.
yeah.
This could be lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you
They
crashed.
weren't dead.
Sounds like such a good game. Oh,
All right,
I wanna
guys.
play it.
Next 3 words: rating,
rating.
weekend, safety. We always get safety.
This is an easy one.
Oh
This
yeah.
is Weekend at Bernie's 3.
Yeah.
The game, the movie.
But he's now a crossing guard.
Yeah.
So your weekend's already covered.
Was he a lifeguard? Or
We know the rating. It's PG-13.
That's NC-17. It's AO.
Oh boy, full penny.
No, full penny and a
No,
half?
just heavily implied, Penny.
Okay.
rating weekend.
See, I was thinking it was like the safety dance, and you're like rating different safety dances, which would naturally occur.
Is there
over
more
a
than one
weekend.
safety dance?
Yeah,
I
you're
know
a-
it has their own. Chris.
You're a judge on America's Got Talent,
Right.
and the whole lineup is people doing the safety dance.
it's
No,
the
no.
safety
Why
dance.
is there a
Okay. You're a safety
2 hours.
inspector. Okay, look, you're a safety inspector.
A boob inspector?
No,
Okay.
Chris. God.
Sorry.
You're a safety inspector,
of boobs.
and
Guys,
you
our
have
pitch to the studios tomorrow. We got to get serious about
to-
this.
you are a safety inspector,
Uh-huh.
and your job is to go around and determine the ratings of various unsafe places.
Okay.
But it's the weekend,
Uh,
so you don't do any of that.
And
you just
you
watch
were
TV.
at a guy's house.
that's not a game.
Right.
That's not a game.
And you have to pretend that he's alive.
You got to work through the weekend.
Everyone's working for the weekend.
That's the
Where-
name of the game.
Where's the
The
game?
weekend.
Where's the game? If you're on the it's the weekend and you're not doing anything.
You have to go. You have to make the rating safer as you go. So it's about removing unsafe obstacles.
But what?
Yeah.
But what about the weekend?
Okay. I'm going to say that you are a health like safety inspector in Los Angeles, rating and reviewing restaurants and other places that serve food because they give you ratings there, right?
So you're like FDA.
So like A, no, it's just they literally just go in and check the restaurant out and be like, oh, you're an A because you have.
Oh,
you know,
sure,
you're
sure.
Clean.
You only have one rat in your kitchen.
But on the weekends,
Okay.
Okay. This
you're
is where
also
things get-
you're dealing with like black market stuff, whether it's drugs or like
And you rate those.
or like
You
puffer
rate
fish
them.
or all this other stuff. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you going to and from all these different restaurants is just you sort of being the bagman to this like syndicate of back alley
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but for some reason the black market only operates on the weekend.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. I
No,
like
that
it.
makes
Safety
sense.
rating
Okay.
weekend. That's the title. Safety rating weekend.
You have access to all these different locations, and you
Yeah.
use those like locations to like have like cockfighting or like poker games
Yeah.
or like other stuff.
So it's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto. I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Like that kind
But
of
you're a
setup.
safety inspector.
But you're
Yeah.
a safety inspector.
Yeah.
There's
You're
still
not
that
allowed to
element of the
drive
game.
cars.
Do you have to wear like a bright yellow
Guys,
vest, maybe?
We did it again.
Another hit.
Ah.
Last one.
Ah.
Last one.
All right, guys.
Otherwise, you got like a 4-hour podcast. You're cut
Criticism.
Criticism.
Generalization.
What?
Detective.
Oh,
Oh my God. that's
loving the last word,
genius.
guys.
Okay. So you're a criticism.
Wait. What? You picked the wrong word.
Guys,
down. You are a YouTube criticism.
let him finish.
Okay, so you're a detective.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word you should start on.
What was the first one? Generalize?
Generalization was the second one.
Generalization.
Yeah.
Criticism.
Criticism was the first one.
Good God.
Therefore, most important.
Is that true?
Just do a little bookmark because you're gonna have to edit out some silence.
Criticism
right now.
and generalization are two vague terms. Like they're just ideas, you know? That's what's difficult about this.
Okay, so we're gonna take elements of them and make a game.
Yeah. That's the
Let's
whole.
let's take the word general.
Yeah.
And make that to.
There was a general, an army general,
Who's
in the
also
theater
a
of war.
detective.
Come on, guys, that's cheating. It's generalization.
Yeah.
You're a detective, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're investigating a crime scene. So it's one of those games where you
You make various criticisms.
No, I was gonna say like you have to
On the murders that
It's
happened.
kinda-
Like, I would have done this!
You generalize
And
a
like,
lot.
I can't believe he didn't use rubber gloves.
Catch the killer.
You're like a bad detective. You go in and you're like, no, it looks like a murder.
I don't know.
Generally,
White guy.
murder.
Yeah, generalizes.
Yeah.
Right.
He generalize. You're the critic
No,
of the detective who
Okay.
generalizes.
No, yeah.
Well, yeah, you
You
are.
criticize
There
it.
is a detective who generalizes and who's terrible, and then there's and he's doing fine with his life. He's making money, but then suddenly a critic shows up.
No, yeah, you're.
And
This
it's
is.
played by the critic.
You want these
This
only
is based
licensed
on the TV
fans.
show The Critic.
We've done it again.
This takes place in 1920 San Diego, and there's a detective
Very specific.
that comes into town. He's trying to solve all these murders and stuff. You don't play as the detective. You play as a newspaper columnist who's rating the detective.
Ooh.
You're just giving criticisms, like you're trying to solve the,
The
murder.
gameplay
You know
is
what?
yourself.
No, this is
Type an
interesting.
actual
This is
column.
interesting because you go in. You go into a crime scene because you're the press.
Yeah.
Okay. So like for some reason you have access to the crime scene.
Because you're there taking pictures and stuff before they
right.
the press.
No,
yeah.
you get all the photos.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But you have the case reports, and you try to find out what actually happened based on what he said was happened, because he generalizes way too much.
Way too much.
Yeah,
guys.
this detective, and you're trying to kind of dethrone the detective because they have
Right.
thrones, and based on just the crime scene photos, because you are the crime scene photo.
I was gonna
criticizer.
say, as opposed to
That
dethrone,
sounds
I
great.
think,
That sounds like a great game to me.
I think you have to try and match his descriptions with the crime scene photos. If he says that, I think a jealous husband murdered this wife, and that's his generalization, you then have to take pictures of just the frame down or something like that. If they're
You have to take
marriage
photos that prove him wrong.
I was gonna say prove him right.
No.
Okay, you were working.
He's the antagonist.
You
He's
were
the
working
antagonist.
He's the best friend.
in conjunction with a world famous detective, but he has agoraphobia and he can't leave his apartment.
Ooh.
So the only way he can get information from the crime scenes is you going there and taking pictures, finding clues, doing all this other stuff.
Where does the criticism come in?
He's just super critical of your work.
He's like the framing.
He's never
is
happy,
not-
guys.
Yeah.
He's never happy.
This
with
just
what
kind
you
of
do.
sounds like Sherlock Holmes now.
That's really hot right
Detective.
now. Yeah.
Kids these days love Sherlock Holmes.
No, I think it's better if you are. I think
you're the reporter that's taking pictures, but also reporting out. You're trying to solve the crime.
Yeah.
You're an amateur
While the police are,
detective.
and maybe
While the bad detective who
Yeah.
generalizes.
he's bad because he generalizes. Also, there may be some dirty cops in the force that might be
Sure, let's toss
gumming
that
up
in
the
there.
works.
Yeah.
It
So
sounds good to me. It sounds
Yeah.
like sort of like 1920 San Diego is a nice touch. Too.
Yeah,
Sort of
no,
like,
and this is a first-person
Yeah.
situation. Like this is like a PC game too.
well, I mean,
I'm thinking that, or like a Wolf Among Us.
Wait,
Wait,
be
are
racist.
we
Telltale game.
taking the pictures or are we reviewing the pictures?
Taking him.
And reviewing them.
How about
so
you
we're
get-
in the crime scene?
how about you get a rating on your picture, like how good it
Oh,
was.
you only have 5 pictures left
You got-
on
yeah.
your roll. You
Right.
have to sum up the crime in 5 pictures.
No, but there's other games
Yeah,
like
I like
Capcom
that.
games, or I think it's Dead Rise and stuff. When you take a picture, it gives you a rating on how good that picture was based on the elements in the
That
frame.
is the game I have been playing recently, actually.
Nice.
Wait, what game?
Dead
Dead
Rising.
Rising.
It's basically Dawn of the Dead,
Yeah.
but arcadey style.
And you can beat zombies with anything.
So there is a story and action, but you also take pictures.
Well,
Because
it's
you're
open world.
you're a photojournalist and you go to investigate this thing that's happening at this mall.
So this is already an established thing that works. No, that works.
yeah, you're right.
So
the
let's
picture taking thing.
So let's do this.
No, I like
Make
my
it
idea
tomorrow.
better.
Yeah.
Well, we know.
No,
you don't.
no, I thought it was the same idea, isn't it?
He's saying
Like-
that mechanic works of taking pictures.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
do that.
no, yeah. But
Same with
I think it's-
Bioshock. I forgot you take pictures of Bioshock
You
and give
do.
your rating.
But I think it's first person like Bioshock, not like Dead Rising. That's third person.
Yeah.
Floater. It's a floater.
A floater, yeah.
Yeah.
Camera
But,
floater.
The old camera.
I want a
frame.
second
Yeah,
person
the drone.
game. How do I get a second person?
That's
No,
like
Deal with that.
There's second-hand games where somebody just describes what somebody else did.
well, the second person game would be what's that game where they where they just it's like a commentary on video games. It's where you
It's like meta.
yeah it's very meta. It's
Meta game?
Metal Gear Solid 2.
What's that?
Metal Gear Solid
no, that's
2.
metal.
Okay.
No.
I forgot the L. And,
Yeah. No, what is the game? It's like it's on. I played it on Steam, and it's the narrator like comments on what you're doing.
Stanley Parable?
Well,
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I would call that a second person game.
I agree. You are correct.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. We found it.
All
right, guys.
Comment retracted.
Nicely done. What's the
I
name
think-
of the game, though?
punching.
Five photo flush.
Yeah, let's mix
yes.
poker.
Criticism
Because-
generalization.
No, because the guy's always trying to flush the bodies down the toilet, and it never works. It never works, but he always tries it.
Joe Pesci's Surgeon Simulator.
Okay.
I think we might have an actual business model going, because I think that we could get money to have Joe Pesci do voiceovers for already existing games.
Here's the thing. This 3-word video game thing. 3-word. What do you call it?
Three-word pitch.
3-word pitch is genius. You need to just do YouTube videos of this. Like just.
Now, I
Pick
thought
3 words,
it
then
was everyone's favorite game in our trivia games, but it turns out it is not.
What is?
It is. They like it, but don't love it across the board.
How many people filled out the...
I'd rather not say.
4.
Yeah, but 4 people.
Yeah, including Jake.
Well, that's not a wide enough sample.
I know. Yeah.
Like
That is also all
80
what
unique-
will.
What was the most popular game?
80 unique people liked it. Trivia. Believe it or not.
Oh, no, I love trivia, actually.
Okay.
But, like, it's hard to assemble trivia questions.
Yeah,
Here's the thing,
especially when
though.
it's just 2 of us.
If you
You probably should just quit.
if you two or a group of people
Yeah.
take 3 words and develop a video game and you watch that happen on video, that would be entertainment. This is
like
great.
we enjoy it a lot, and like I feel like we've come up with some really solid.
There,
games.
there have been some actually solid games.
Yeah.
The Snowman one was great.
I really
I
think
want to make that game.
I really honestly think a lot of these games sound good to me.
Yeah.
Like I like the idea, like maybe not the specific story within the game, but like I like the idea of like for the Ice Capade one, having a performance aspect and then a behind the scenes aspect where
Yeah.
you're sabotaging other people. I think that's great. It's sort of like what was that game, The Weakest Link, where they would all make deals in the back, like they would make deals with each other and then they would actually play the game. Like that would be it, but instead of making deals, you're like killing people.
Yeah.
No, you make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh my god, she tripped and fell on a skate.
Yeah.
And their neck slid open.
She actually drank too much cyanide.
Yeah.
You
You gotta be careful with that. It's very easy to drink way too much.
I guess that brings it. I feel like
Wow.
before we get to the very end, before we wrap it up 100%, is there any other stories or things you want to talk about? This is your last chance, guys, to just.
This is the
Get
last
it out
chance for
there.
the weekly episodes,
For the
right?
weekly
No,
episodes.
tell me what your plan is. What is Chris?
Well, that's
Chris's
the very
plan?
end, right? We're
Well,
going to talk about Chris.
We might, yeah. So if
'Cause,
nobody,
well,
if
what
nobody
I
else-
want to talk about,
okay.
yeah, is I think
You know what? In the first episode, you wouldn't even say your last name. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. That's the character arc.
Maybe you have.
Chris Davis.
Oh,
There it
you
is.
said it.
You have to have a
complete
final
that.
episode reveal.
Yeah,
Well,
this,
if they know me from Pops, like I think I said my name, didn't I, in the first episode?
no, in the first episode, I
You
think
said,
I
don't worry about it. That's what you said.
Yeah. Well, you guys can look me up on IMDb if you want to, in the credits of
IMDb?
Pops. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your plan?
yeah, what's going on? Because this could become an amazing thing. You know,
Well,
keep it going.
my feeling about the podcast kind of fluctuates daily or weekly. And basically, the second I told Phil, hey, I might not want to do this anymore, he took the opportunity to like, I'm out. Like he's like, I'm glad our heads are in the same place. I'm not
Yep.
doing this anymore.
So I think Chris would want to continue doing the podcast. If I was still in it, I will say that I kind of handicapped him because what I said last episode I think holds true, where I'm slowly getting more and more out of gaming.
You
So-
can hear him. You can hear this fall
happens in
apart in
real
the last
time.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tells me during the episode he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Let the record show that I advised him not to do
Wait,
that.
wait. So you're saying this isn't fun anymore?
I'm saying not that the podcast isn't fun. It's more of just like I will have as the weeks go on, I will have less and less and less and less to contribute because not only am I not having a new system, so I can't talk with Chris about the games that he plays, but I'm also playing less games. Like literally the past week, I've only played one game and I've maybe only spent like 3 hours for an entire week.
Why are you playing less games?
More personal stuff. Like I'm looking for a new job. I've had some interviews. I've have more like we need house things to do around the weekend. We're going up to Milwaukee this Friday. Like there's just more stuff that's like I'm not just sitting in an apartment where it's just like, well, I got like 8 hours. Caitlin's at work. I can sit at home on my butt, play some video games.
But I mean, that might change once everything settles down a little bit.
That
Because
might.
a lot of changes have happened for you recently.
Well, no, I mean, you're going to have a kid any day, right? I mean,
Any
is that
day.
the plan?
Tomorrow?
Have you
no.
been talking to Robin?
That's her mother.
They're talking about getting another cat, and 3 cats is basically 1 child.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
the
the
ratio.
conversion?
Yeah.
I'm more allergic to the cats though than
You
children.
think?
Yeah.
Phil is very allergic
You can
to
pretend you're
babies.
allergic to children.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, but not your own babies.
I'll
There's
be pretty
a
allergic.
genetic inoculation.
Yeah.
But so my thing was just like, it made sense at 52 episodes a year. Chris said that he was kind of dying down on it. I'm just like, yeah.
You
like
did.
I'm enjoying more the YouTube stuff because literally it's just like if I have an hour to record, I don't edit it at all. It's just like an hour, here's the game and me playing, and then I can put it up, and then that's an hour of content that only takes me
An hour and 5 minutes.
an hour and 5 minutes, as opposed to like, okay, well, I got to make sure that I play games so I have something to talk about on the podcast, and I should look up news, but none of this news interests me because it's all new games that I'm never going to play.
For real, 2 episodes ago, when you guys talked about the idea of stopping the podcast, you both sounded so excited.
Just the idea of doing something else, too. Just the idea of doing videos and stuff was exciting. Because that's closer to, like, video games and what we're doing anyways. Just us playing video games sounds more fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather us just meet once a week to play an hour of co-op games rather than...
Yeah. Like I said, like, I'm fine with that, like, do the new, like, if people want to hear news and all that stuff, like, you can have it while we're playing a game. Because we're not going to just, like, talk like, hey, man, Mortal Kombat 10, let's only talk about Sub-Zero doing this finisher. It's just like, you can still talk about other
I would
shit.
say doing a video, doing like gaming and stuff, you're probably gonna have more of an audience or more of an interaction.
It's
with
definitely a
it.
different audience, too. Because,
But-
like, for me, I know that, like, I listen to podcasts when I'm, driving long distances or put it on when I'm doing work. But videos, you have to, like, sit down and pay attention to.
Right,
Like, actually watch.
And there's just like a vibrant community of people who there's a good system of comments and a good way to interact.
And plus, it's easier to go
Yeah.
and just randomly find videos on YouTube than, like, iTunes. You don't randomly search, like, podcasts on iTunes.
No.
Well, and apparently it's like a thing enough that YouTube created their own video game
Oh,
site
yeah,
now.
for sure.
So, like, I mean, that's like you're tapping into something that is currently evolving and very vibrant.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a big community of gamers in listening to podcasts. Really,
Right.
Like they're watching games, they're watching gamers. So
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to doing, like, a special episode or doing maybe once or twice or once every month or two. Just, like, having guests, doing some news, doing what we're playing.
If you have a guest, that's different. Yeah, that's a different thing. Then you're making it about the guest.
Right, exactly. And that's why it's the reason to have the conversation. Yeah.
Mhm. Cool. Well,
So we'll see. I'm not calling it. I'm not saying the time of death is 9:02.
Yeah,
on a Thursday,
I've told Chris
but-
that he could continue on. I give him my blessing.
Yeah, no, I've heard your blessing.
If someone wants to sub in, if he wants to have a rotating guest chair,
you
if
gotta
he wants
say
to
fill
do it,
in. Come on.
Yeah.
someone wants to fill in,
Yeah.
I'll come back every once in a while and be a guest if need be, but like it doesn't have to die if I leave.
Yeah.
Like technically, you could. I mean, I know you're busy, but you could be
Yeah.
like an every other week host.
I can't do this.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons you guys are here, right? Is to announce the release date of Pops episode 9.
Yeah, sure.
Is that why we're here?
No,
I was
but
kidding.
I'm basically looking for a cast and crew screening space because I think I'm ready to show it in about a week and a half. Yeah.
I was
Those
fake
were
putting you on
ghosts.
the spot, but yeah, I didn't know you were that close.
Yeah. Yep. I'm that close.
And so episode 10 will be ready for...
Yeah. The following week.
The problem with there's plenty of problems with episode 10, but we'll get around to that in private conversations. Transition.
If you need to cut me out, you can cut me out. Like if I really weighed down.
No, dude, you were amazing in episode 9.
Yeah.
Phil is in episode 9. Like, spoiler alert, guys. Phil
I
is in
played a
episode
huge
9.
role. I had 0
He
speaking
is
lines.
amazing in episode 9.
Where is he?
He
in
did
episode
refuse to take, or rather to put on his pants
He
for a
plays
lot of it.
Pop spoiler.
You can't say that. You can't.
You really think that's much of a spoiler? That is.
Oh my God, you're creating so much work for him.
Is that really a spoiler?
Saying that Jake's in the episode is a spoiler.
Yeah, that's too much, man. That's too much. I can tell you this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your face color corrects great.
I try to make the blood flow in my face.
Spoiler from Jake.
That's a spoiler. Cut out this whole section.
Wouldn't want the audience to know about all that color correcting.
All right, goodbye, Phil.
All right,
See you, Phil.
Bye.
It would only be fitting if he walked out during the podcast.
Yeah.
Could have done that.
All right, I guess that's all of it. Should we promote our Twitch and our Twitter and our I guess
promote
YouTube?
the YouTube
I
and
guess,
the Twitch
yeah.
at least.
So we're not officially dead. We certainly will exist on YouTube and Twitch and other places, and possibly continue to release a podcast.
This is so weird. Like, I've listened to you guys for a year of my life.
Yeah.
That's depressing. Mainly that you had nothing better to do.
Okay, fuck you.
Well, I mean, we produced over 100 hours of podcasts.
Here he goes.
But
Here goes
anyways.
Philly Gumbo.
Yeah, I mean, I like how it's just like the send off, like I'm dying. It's I'll still be doing YouTube, and I'll still see you characters. Probably not Craig as much, but
I'll try to be around.
Well, I'm pretty sure your character.
Craig?
I got a lot of things.
I think your Pop's character is.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
I'm the main
sure.
character.
Another cut point for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I know. That's fine.
That's not. I'm not dying. Don't fake cry.
I don't know. Craig feels things very deeply.
I do. I'm feeling it way down in my foot. Way down.
All right. But if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find us
At Not Fun Podcast.
Yep.
.twitter.gov.
.gov.
Or we got a website.
This isn't fun anymore. Podcast.com.
You can find the podcast at google.com. Search
podcast.
podcast. Scroll down a lot.
Yeah, go to page like 1,462.
Yeah, you'll find
And
it.
then we're the fifth one down from the top.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/This Isn't Fun Anymore. And then our YouTube is just...
YouTube.com/This Isn't Fun Anymore podcast.
Or I abbreviate my videos just TFAP.
Yeah, they all have the
TFAP?
the subtitle.
You're aware what fapping is, aren't you?
I know
Yeah, I
what
know.
fapping is.
That's why we get all those hits.
Nice. Nice.
It's a little cross promotion
Yeah. With Pornhub.
with Pornhub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. Should I do a montage of all of our sign-offs over the years?
You know, you should do all of his, like, beep, boop, 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 boop.
That too.
We should compose a song out of those.
That's a lot of work for me.
That
That
would be a lot of work.
Okay, if anybody has a sign-off, now's the time to do it.
Don't forget the salami.
All right.
Done.
I think Phil should have the last word.
Oh yeah, I'm not the last. I'm not
Phil,
going to be the last
Phil,
one.
say your goodbyes.
Now, how's that cat's pajamas?
Oh,
How do you use
first
the
and
last
last.
episode?
I don't care. I don't care anymore.
That's so Phil though.
There.
Let him do it. It's so
Okay.
Phil to
I don't
do
So
care
that.
Phil.
anymore. It's
Old
very
school.
Phil.
You'll be missed, Phil.
Aw, thanks, Craig.
You're still, like, coming home with me, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've
Nope.
been...
Wait, he's fading away. He's ceasing
Oh my
to
God.
exist.
There he goes.
Ah,
Phil!
he was
Phil!
CG all along. Ah. He's gone.